That's going to be very funny because the audio version, I just caught the 3-1. Someone's going to be very confused. That's not an edit. Anyway, hello. Welcome to Rain. This is episode 49. I was a little confused earlier when I was uploading the new one because apparently last week I just went ahead and made 2 thumbnails.
Oh.
So technically I've already made the thumbnail for this one and numbered it.
Have we done a lot? We're 50 episodes, honestly.
I think
We've done as much as we've done.
Okay.
I don't really want to start a fight in the first 5 minutes. But we're not making Star Wars Andor at a budget of, $650 million for 12 episodes, okay? It takes what it takes. It's 49. You can hear everybody's voices when they speak in this, except Loth, who is currently missing in action.
He's dead. As
But
he
it's
has
been,
been killed to death.
30 minutes, so we're getting started anyway, and we assume he'll show up whenever he gets back from being lost at the coffee shop.
He was attacked by koalas.
I was talking to the lemon.
Dingo ate him.
Gone a fist fight with a kangaroo.
I know Loth does have Discord on his phone. I don't know if he ever types on his phone on Discord. Especially because he's showing as like normal away and not mobile, unlike several other people in my sidebar right now. So when he said that he got distracted by talking to his landlord, I kind of feel like that means that he came back inside and typed that on his computer. Anyway, the people listening to Rain don't care
His
about that.
landlord
The people
did
playing
it.
Rain care a little bit, but will care less later.
So, if I believe I remember correctly, we're in the middle of doing something very reckless and stupid.
Actually, no.
Reckless? Yes. Stupid? Probably not.
The stupid part is like, you could consider it a calculated risk. It's definitely, probably.
Get a new calculator.
I feel like, though, if you just mock everything we do, regardless.
No, I have been very vocal about my opinions on this mission.
Mm-hmm.
Coach not.
Axe, I find that very hilarious considering you, the most important person in this group, was like, I have to go.
You ordered me here.
You wanted to go.
Yes, we're doing this because you wanted to do it.
Several of the other characters did not want to do it.
I know.
And they did argue it for probably a solid 30 minutes before Lucky/Inos made the correct decision to say, this discussion is going nowhere. Decide. Hey, Lucky, remember when I said I had an uncharitable thought to phrase it as bickering?
Yeah, no, I agreed with it.
We're bickering. We're bickering already. Anyway. Okay. You're in the Fogveil. Technically, currently, everybody is camped inside a ruined farmhouse with, like, stone brick walls, no roof over your head. It's damp as hell. It's not raining.
Damn.
I rolled. It's merely overcast. And if I recall, the quote-unquote away team was, at least at first, you were going to send just a few people forward to, like, peek over the next hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was going to be... Oh, yeah, I got it.
Conrad and...
Conrad, Inos,
what's his
Thorin.
face?
And Leslok said that he wanted to at least look over the hill.
Yeah.
Do you still wish to go as far as looking?
Yes. I'm not going in the town with you guys.
What time is it? Roughly?
Mid-afternoon, I think. Because you guys double timed.
I think we had lunch at the watch fort.
The fort.
And then we had a few hour journey.
And then 2.5 hours. So it's still early afternoon, early to mid.
All right, yeah, we have time then.
Once again, it's completely like overcast, so it's a little hard to guess the time of day. Actually, good world building question. Anybody in the squad carry a pocket watch?
Yes, Inos.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like
I figured Inos did.
Because Inos is a gift from Barok.
Actually, wait. No, I can just fucking tell because I have weather eyes. I can just kind of tell the time of day from looking at like sky.
Does
You
that
need
work
the
as
sun
a
for
time
that.
of day,
Is
or-
that what that says?
Well, weather-wise is like he gets it for being a Veiler. So it's
Also,
slightly
weather
spooky,
lets you predict
but
the weather, if I remember correctly, not the time.
Humanity,
that's what I
air
was going to
pressure,
ask. Does it
temperature,
allow you to do the time of day? I thought it was just the weather.
Humanity, air pressure, temperature, electrical hours.
That has nothing to do with the time.
To be fair, usually when I see something listing all those effects in the on the display, the time is usually there as well.
I mean, if he can tell stuff like air pressure and relative temperature, you can guess what the time of day is broadly.
Yeah, but
And he guesses it is mid-afternoon.
It would not substitute for a pocket
Yes.
watch with, precisely wound time.
that would also require him to know the relative normal variables of that area.
I think I read that book once.
Probably true.
Remember,
The
is he
Fogveil,
paid-
the country you haven't been in
the country
500
that no one
years?
has been in is no. Fuck you.
I meant of the entire. No.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Like
I
no,
hate that.
seriously.
You don't need to phrase it as fuck you, but
But no one has been here in 500 years.
Yeah, but the sky is still the same as the same country.
No, how do we know that?
there was a large-scale natural disaster here that does fuck up climate patterns.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, can we just... This is kind of a
Yes,
moot
yes,
point
yes.
since we've already gotten an answer, so...
Like I said, I asked about the pocket watches. We have a couple, so you can actually tell yes what time of day it is. All right. Should I? Sorry, now I'm considering how much paranoia do I want to cultivate. Well, I'll ask you. Player choice is always better. Forward team. How stealthily
Yes.
are we being?
Oh, I like being stealthy.
It's like
I'm
5
gonna
of
roll
you?
stealth.
I have no stealth
Okay.
skills, but I'm
So,
also
Omega.
going to leave before you go to play where it actually matters.
Omega,
You say that.
I'm going to cast something when they leave. Is that okay?
Oh,
yeah. How much time you got? Actually, wait, no. Enos, yeah, you gotta do
that was
one
you need
too.
to do the thing of you need to say what it is actually.
It's great glamour.
Okay.
yeah. I also
Yeah,
need
do
to
you actually
cast.
roll for that?
I believe I do. I think.
But Enos, yes, I remember. You wanted to do devil repelling again, I think.
Listen, I love this spell now.
Now, so long as you got the materials, but I think it's pretty simple.
It's nothing I shouldn't be able to carry on my person. I was actually thinking about this earlier. I probably should have done it, but I need to go through all my spells and find out what I actually need to carry on me.
Yes, you're. When spells say you need to use something to use them, they are usually getting a discount for materials or preparation.
No, so I need to I remember devil repelling incense is just like sacred oils or incense I can burn in a little censer, which I will assume I have on me. I would not imagine that I would leave without such things. But in the future, I am actually going
you should
to write
easily
down.
be able to buy a little incense censer and hang it off your pack or belt or something.
Ooh, I should totally hang it off my belt. That'd be rad, or my pack. That'd be cool. But
And in a pinch, I'm pretty sure because I know that Nicola has prepared aromatica. I think he also has to have a little incense burner or essential oils
Yep.
diffuser.
oh, that reminds me.
I think
have
also
to-
because most Veiler sorcery involves oils and crystalline objects and reflective surface. I probably think I just have a bag of a bunch of herbs and oils and shit.
Also probably true.
All right. So with that, I'm gonna make that a fucking 3 as well, because luckily Devil Repelling Incense is intensity 3, because it's meet or beat, right? Not just beat.
Yes, it's meet or exceed.
Okay, so I'll make my Master Die a 3. That makes it a width makes it 4x3. That means this farmhouse will be protected, repelling Monstrum for the next 4 days.
4 days. And if they want to do anything cool, they have to beat your
Sorcery pool acts as a gobble
90.
dice for a monster who wants to enter the area.
But
But
any of their actions, you get a chance to gobble them. And the materials you need are brass or iron vessel, and then
a mixture of herbs of lavender,
witchbane, lavender, rosemary, common sage. All of those are very common herbs, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and censer, incense burner, or even a special oil lamp. I'll have to decide. But yes,
gotta think
Inos will
about
spend
which
like
one.
5 minutes. He'll spend some time grounding herbs, putting them in the censer, then, walk 5 minutes around the farmstead, chanting and making prayers.
So Enos, you would notice 15 minutes after you guys are heading out.
Oh, would Enos notice?
Well, like 15 minutes after you start this, so it probably be. How long did it take you to cast?
5 minutes.
5 minute
Double
cast.
repelling?
He's done before
5
that.
minutes.
Oh, okay. So then you might not notice.
Yeah, I'm about to
but
say.
the farmhouse is now empty. There's no one inside.
I hope you tell me when I come back.
I mean, yes, I would have told you I was
I'm
doing this.
pretty sure that definitely out of character, we can extend that to in character, because there was a question of whether or not Nicola should come with you, because he's also very good at hiding himself in the field, but I believe the
But I'm
decision
better
was
at
made for him to
doing
stay here
this.
to hide the crew.
Yeah.
But yes, so now that we've handled the pre-stuff,
By the way, I don't have
if
to
you
make a roll.
are
I check.
sneaking forward, be sneaky.
Megan, I do have a question to ask. Would Shroud the Soul work against things like monstrum and animals and stuff, not just people?
Oh, well, hold on, sorry.
Loth is here.
Hey, there's Loth.
I apologize. Guess who got locked out of their place again?
Oh, you got locked out.
Hey,
Okay.
I
I
got a
joked you
notific-
got lost.
Close enough. I walked outside because I got a notification that my package had arrived. So I stepped outside and forgot my key as soon as I closed the door.
Mention we're recording.
Think? What?
don't
Wow,
pay
Axe.
attention.
Fucking.
Don't pay attention.
You're lying.
Just ignore him. It's fine.
Luckily, my landlord was outside and he was able to go back to his place to find keys.
Well, you made it.
I apologize. I was outside with no
That's
key,
fine.
no phone to tell you guys, hey, I'm stuck.
Oh,
It happens.
sorry, man.
We just thought koalas attacked you. It's fine.
Yeah, Axe.
Sorry, I was reading Shroud the Soul. It technically does say people, but I think it would work for animals, at least so long as whatever you're doing around animals wouldn't be of note to them.
Okay.
So it would probably be slightly different than humans. Monstrum, I feel like that's going to really depend on the creature you're going with, because some of them are only animal intellect, some of them have knowledge scores. So
Monstrum is just
that's
like there's a
kind of
little
a
there's a little
question.
block text under it that says it varies. Results may vary.
Just as a funny thing, he was testing out all the spare keys he has because they manage different buildings, and he's like, "Man, your unit number, none of these ones work." I'm like, "Wait, you're saying unit 1? I'm unit 4." He's like, "Oh shit."
No.
Yeah, shit.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
But yes, then
Yes.
in that case I would even if it's early, it might cause some confusion. Enos will cast Shroud the Soul upon leaving.
All right.
Because it will help me be
Is anybody besides Konrad sneaking?
I will sneak as soon as I finish casting.
Yeah.
Can I do shadowy? Actually, no, that won't matter.
I think you can
I'm gonna shadowy by
yourself.
myself because I should at least do that.
That would also make you unseeable. It's correct.
Sadly, I will not sneak.
Well, you're.
But I'll
Yeah,
keep
I
my
I thought you were
distance.
staying at base camp.
Well, this is the
I am
forward.
staying at base camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he is not.
You
sneaking.
feel.
Therefore,
You feel a vague sense of woogity wash over you.
The woogity.
yes, Nicola takes 15 minutes to Great Glamour you, which I did.
For some reason, it feels very sad.
It's
Hold on,
melancholic.
is Eno sneaking or disguising?
Both.
Oh,
No,
good. I have an excuse
I
to
put-
post this again.
Yes, no, I put the entire home camp in a glamour.
I'm gonna. All right. Can someone delete that because I just fucked that up horribly.
No, it's.
Hmm?
Uh,
For hours.
What are you
equal
talking
to
about?
wit-
It's binary.
God damn it, Loth. I missed you.
But yes, I will.
Maybe
make
Thumbs up.
my-
maybe Loth needs to be locked out of his place more often, so he's a little more talkative.
I'm
Maybe.
going to flay you alive.
Maybe we should doing something.
That's Thorin for 10s.
Okay.
No, Axe is just
By
on
the way,
one
Loth,
today.
you dodged like
Axe
10 minutes.
Axe
of
decided today is
bickering.
going to be the petty
I
bitch
had-
passive aggressive
I-
podcast, so I'm just gonna work with that.
We're having a day.
I've had a very
Mr.
weird day.
Marines.
I had like my relationship, with my best friend, like fall apart, then come back together, then fall apart again, then back together. It was a whole day.
You should probably just break it
Wow.
apart because that sounds like a pain in the fucking dick.
It sounds like a toxic
Okay.
relationship.
Even Everhelm makes it.
Okay, I just wrong.
But I will also now make my stealth check. Nice.
Yeah, 3 5. So I don't think that changed. It's only a plus.
Oh, nice.
It is nice. There's a 69 in there.
Well, you know, because of the spell, he gets to roll.
I got 5s.
Of course.
Well, that's pretty good considering that you have, because you cast your spell to Shadow Weave, right?
Yeah, I
It's
have like
the-
none. It's 3, so yeah. It's just
So
3 coordination,
you-
so.
Your spell gobble dices for sight.
And then if I'm not, and if I don't move, I can get an extra 2 on stealth.
Alright, so you rolled a 5 to basically go unheard. And like I said, Thorin makes 10s, and even Everhelm makes 3s,
Woo.
which I think, even though he's got medium armor, is exactly the difficulty.
Yeah.
And what was Conrad's total set?
3 3s.
3 threes, yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Your full behind party should be Aurelia, Mattis, Ike, Alestra, Moira, Nicola, and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got 5 going and 7 staying.
Sounds good.
We don't need to worry about Ignis rolling stealth.
By the way, did you say how long you think this scouting will take?
No, I didn't know.
That is a good question. No, I
Okay,
do not.
because I got to start making rolls in about an hour.
He starts sweating if he holds the glamour too long.
I mean, hey, I could.
You can shadow everybody. That's not... It's a little different than what Great Glamour does.
Fair.
Funnily enough.
Also, don't you have to be in the center of it?
No, that's.
No, I can move around it freely.
No, I was talking to Axe.
I'm talking about Shadow Weave's like the single target one.
Oh, okay.
Right, but I think if you're thinking of taking over for hiding,
I am, but everyone would say they wouldn't want the penalties to like sight here.
I think it's
mean-
only sight, but that would probably not be great for standing guard. Oh, actually, wait, shit. Did I cast Hallowed Ground already?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I remember you saying it.
Said
I
you
don't remember
would.
what your role was, though.
Maybe I didn't roll it then. Hold on.
I don't think there was any rolling at the end of the last
okay.
session.
Let's
Yeah,
just
there were no
what's
rolls done at the end.
Intensity of
I know we definitely were talking about doing
Hallowed
it. So
Ground. We'll just fucking really forward up this
This farm.
farmhouse.
No.
Hallowed Ground is 3, so we'll call ED 3. Yeah, 5s.
5s.
So for let's see, days equal to height. So for 5 days, everybody inside this farmhouse gets +1d on Scrutinize and Eerie.
very good.
And basically, probably because it takes the same amount of casting, basically, Inos, as you go around with the incense center, Alestra will probably either take like, a vial of holy water or also a separate incense sensor and like follow you behind. and hallow the ground. So all of you feel kind of like this strange, like, sense of simultaneous contentment and alertness. You feel safe, but also feel, amped up, ready to go.
Cocaine.
But yeah, so away team. You guys move forward. I will say this is pretty funny because Everhelm comes. By the way, Logesh stays behind. Everhelm goes, though he does have an arquebus just in case. He's kind of trailing behind. But, Thorin and Konrad are just normal sneak boys. Very sneaky.
I think Leslok's like a
Inos,
walking shadow right now.
You become, but Inos, you become very sneaky, but in like a casual way. You're like a casual sneakman.
As if I like Shroud the Show basically means that you see Inos, but you just keep looking past him because you think he's of no note or consequence. He's supposed to be there.
Yeah, like you, the rest of you will like catch Inos out the corner of your eye and just go, oh, yeah, it's Inos.
It's like, obviously that's not important.
Yeah.
You've overruled me glibness now.
And as you noted, Leslok does shadow weave, so he is just literally his shadow walking across the ground. You guys don't see his body, and he makes very quiet footsteps, so you like know roughly where he should be because you're all on the same team, but he is non-visible, though is eerieable if any of you did want to like tweak something. But yeah. So, you guys basically hike up to the first, big ridge to look into town. What about a sneaking suit?
We'll get there.
So, you guys, like, crest this hill. It's a low ridge, There's, like, the ancient remnants of, like, somebody's, stone fence posts to keep, goats in or something.
Oh.
Either the wind has blown all their bricks down, or somebody has just stolen all their rocks. What's your O, Lucky?
Oh, no. Goat pens. Open.
Yeah. No, it's hard to tell because it's like 500-ish years of damage, but these outlying, like, agriculture steads looked like they were mostly ranching, probably small animals like goats or sheep, or were farm fields for, like, root vegetables, leafy greens, that kind of stuff. Not because the terrain here is like mountain foothills. It's not level enough for like big, wide open plains of grain. As I said before, unfortunately, all of the like farm fields here were. Well, I'll put it this way. Good news: the soil here is still somewhat fertile. Bad news: that means that the fields are full of fucking weeds and wildflowers.
Usable, but
No,
I
more
believe I said
sneezing.
last time, if you guys like looked very hard, you might find some like wild root vegetables or some common herbs. But yeah, it's mostly like inedible shit unless you're like in an extreme survival situation. Nobody really wants to eat like daffodils or daisies. So you guys crest the ridge and you can actually see the Black Mist Bay and what remains of the city of Svardis. Go ahead, anybody who's taken a gander, roll me Sense plus Sight.
I will attempt.
If you would like
I will
to be
fail.
looking closely. I will give you a broad description of things, beforehand.
What?
I rolled a straight.
This is uncanny. How did we get here?
I guess I'm just going home now. I'm just gonna go.
I am
Lucky
infecting
says, "Fuck it,
everyone."
I'll try, gets 10s. Leslok walks out here to see, by the way. This is the whole reason why he came. A straight. I don't
I
fucking
guess
know.
Yes,
I
give in
got
to
threes.
my luck.
Never, never.
No, so I refuse
Uh.
to think you're the actual constant in the universe.
He is chaos. Anyway, okay. Conrad
I
got some
am a
threes.
fixed point in time.
I could have Thorin and Everhelm roll, but I won't because they don't need to. Also, Conrad, I assume you have a spyglass on you?
Yeah.
I will say, Enos does not have a spyglass.
I had one. I
Yeah,
think I
you're
just
just
give
using the
you here.
old
Just take
Mark
mine.
1 eyeball.
He got it when we were in Tron when we visited Tridesum.
Wouldn't a spyglass be in
So-
your expected possessions?
Yes.
I think so.
I mean, I didn't
Maybe not.
have sight that high in my when I started out, so
True. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
He picked it up in character for sure. So as mentioned before, the Black Mist Bay is a fjord, so it is a like narrow glacial valley. Basically, the bay, the city, is at the far inland edge of the fjord, kind of forming a semicircle around, the innermost area. And either side is pretty tall glacial valley walls. There are sections which are just sheer cliffs. As you guys are kind of like looking at the outermost areas, you might vaguely see like underneath, overgrowth and like trees, the overgrown ruins of like coastal fortifications completely covered up. The city itself is broadly semicircular. And even on a failure of sight, you can kind of see the general way it's laid out. Once upon a time, there was a wall that was an earthenwork berm and then stacked timbers above that. The timbers have all rotted away, but the berm still exists. So there's still probably like 3 or 4 feet of like earthenwork surrounding this whole town. Because earthenwork doesn't rot away.
It's Earth.
There was a main gate and gatehouse of like stone framework. No sign of a gate. And it looks like the kind of archway of the gatehouse has collapsed. So there's a pile of stone rubble in the middle of the road. With the spyglass, looking closely, Konrad is pretty sure. And actually, honestly, even though you failed the roll, Leslok, if you have a spyglass, it's pretty plain to see. It looks
find
like
out.
someone has cleared out a small space of the rubble so that it's enough for like 1 or 2 people on foot to pass. This main road, originally, the gatehouse and the road is large enough that it would have allowed, 2 animals and carts to pass. So just enough of the gateway rubble has been cleared to allow people on foot to go in.
Okay, so like small amounts.
The city is roughly, and I would say like 2 halves. There was once, I should say, a stone paved road running down the middle, from the gatehouse to the center of the city, where there is a large market square. And again, with a spyglass, you can probably see there is a large statue there, but it's now so weathered that, any distinguishing features about the statue are gone. And the city is in a semicircular shape, kind of around the inside of the bay. One half of it, you would say, is probably completely in ruins. This was clearly the lower class area of town. So it was mostly wood frames, earthenwork frames, that kind of thing. All that shit, gone.
yeah, things would be gone in the amount of time already anyway.
The thatch roofs or wooden shingles are all gone, and then, the wood frames are gone. No real major sign of, like, fire or anything other than weather. The roads here would have been wood paved, actually, so those have all, like, rotted away into, like, little muddy or loamy trails that kind of crisscross everywhere. Some places you might still see that are, like, basically bare because they were, like, hard-packed earth or, like, stone foundations.
Mhm.
But buildings and walls all gone, with the exception at the water side. there are some very large buildings made of stone and clay brick with hardened roofs. It's a little hard to tell from this angle, but they look like old granaries and warehouses that are still mostly intact.
Okay.
The other half of the city was clearly the upper class part of the city. These streets were paved in cobbles or stone pavers, and they're still mostly intact from this distance. Though again, you get those lovely little, little weeds and stuff poking through the cracks. Some of these big buildings were still, even though they were for upper class merchants or men at arms, were clearly still made of like mostly wood and are completely collapsed. But a decent number of them were made of stone and clay brick as well, covered in crumbling plaster. Don't know why that was so hard to say. Again, looking through your spyglass, Konrad, you get a close enough look at these that you definitely think that some of these like intact buildings show signs not just of weathering, but clearly of being ransacked or searched. Like doors that have been, through a telescope zoom, clearly kicked off hinges. Looks like, shutters and window treatments have been ripped out to get in, kind of a thing. And then, just kind of been weathering. At the top of a rise, there's a little, like, built-up hill kind of in the center of town. There's a couple of major structures that are still intact. There is a simple citadel, a simple fortress, 4 walls, boxy design. Looks mostly intact. Some of the bricks out of the top, and some of the crenellations have worn down. Some of the spots where they used timber have rotted away, but the rough skeleton of this thing is intact. There's also a stone manor, which is clearly the like largest house in town. That must be for the Jarl, the local lord. Would have probably doubled as a town hall. The entire coastal side of this town was once piers and docks. Like, all the coastal side was open. Most of that has, like, collapsed or rotted away. The piers jutting out in the bay there's, only a handful of stone ones that survived. But those of you who succeed can pick out that 3 or 4 of them appear to be being maintained or have been rebuilt. This is probably because in the bay, again, Leslok, you can still see this with a spyglass because it's a boat. Spoilers, it's a boat. But you're not going to be able to make out extra detail. But you see very clearly a large ship of, maybe like 100 feet long or more. It's got a familiar, broad, boxy design, reinforced fore and aft castles, 3 rigged sails, bank of oars, and at the apex, at the tippy top of the crow's nest, is flying the colors of Bloody Bradley Vossler, which is the image of a grinning fox with a cutlass in its mouth.
It's a 7 damn foxhound.
Well, fuck.
Inos and Konrad, because you succeeded, you can spot next to this ship, there is a smaller ship. It's about the length of like the Seawolf, maybe, so like 75 or 80 feet. It's got what looks like a flat bottom design and kind of a pear-shaped hull. 3 masts. Konrad, looking through it, you can see clearly she's not flagged. Very minimal crew on board. You can count like maybe space for like 6 cannons on top. You have expert sailor, right, Konrad?
Yeah. One rank in it.
I mean, it's funny because I think I say that's like under coordination, but go ahead and roll it for me.
Okay.
See if you can identify this. And yeah. do I want to have you roll separately for that? No, you've got Conrad has a spyglass anyway. Inos, at this range, you can't make out how many guys are on the deck of the Foxhound, obviously.
Conrad
Can't
will
You're using
be
the old
passing
smartphone
around.
eyeball.
Yeah, I'm about to ask,
Passing
can I
around, yeah.
use Leslok's spyglass?
Here.
Yeah, I think you said that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, an excellent.
Pair of
So
fives.
if you look a little closer. Okay, then we'll get to that in a second. The second boat. Actually, I'll say this first. The Foxhound. You're decently familiar with this ship. You know it personally. She's pretty big. She is known as a galleass or a half galley. So she's about the size of a galleon, which is not a super modern ship, but a very well tested design for both military and trade use. She has a reinforced, forecastle, and aft castle, and mostly this type of ship is used for armed cargo transport because, basically, you've got the top deck. Below that, you've got the gun deck. And if you remember your count correctly from when Lucy told you about it, and you're counting to yourself, the Foxhound is 36 guns, 18 to a broadside. Also, by the way, she's parked facing 4 inland, which means that the 2 mortars on the front deck are pointing towards the town.
Great.
Hmm.
And then below the gun deck, you have the rower's galley, which lets this ship get up and going. Conrad, if you recall correctly, the rowing crew could be between 50 and 100 men, depending on how many guys you can recruit. Even if you're a paid sailor, rowing a galley is not fun.
Mm-mm.
The upper deck and the rest of the actual crew roles should have around 50 sailors, and then maybe another maximum of 50 guys in the gun crew. So if the Foxhound is fully manned, you're looking at between 150 and 200 pirates. Looking at the top deck, though, you do only see not quite a skeleton crew, but like a small watch of men, maybe between 20 or 40.
Are they in the town? Or are they somewhere else?
You guys haven't done a stakeout yet. At just you roll up and look at this town, you're not exactly sure. Because they're not it doesn't look like pirates are roaming the streets. But there are intact structures. But the second boat, again, no flag. If you look real close, you can probably see the name Windlass printed on her.
Windlass.
Like I said, not flagged. This is a design which is called a flute, or just flute. A popular design in Norlon and Forrester. Flat bottom, like I said, pear-shaped hull, 3 masts. It's not as fast as something like the Seawolf. The Seawolf is a very modern ship, a clipper. The Windlass, being a flute, is a tall-masted ship, which means she's got great speed and has a flat keel to travel in shallow waters very easily. But it's a design that mostly maximizes cargo space.
Yeah, you said
It's a ship
pear-shaped
for
hull. I was
courier work. It could probably hold a crew of as many as 50 sailors or passengers, but it looks, if you look through the spyglass, it looks like a skeleton crew for sure. As you see as few as 10 sailors on deck at most. Oh, also, Conrad, you can tell because you do have expert sailor and you did make a match. Both the Foxhound and the Windlass are riding high in the waterline. They are not currently heavily loaded with cargo.
Okay. I will point that out to the others.
Yes.
So, kind of lean back over. It's like, should we head back and discuss our next move? I think it's pretty obvious right now that the pirates are, well, in the area.
Yeah, we should go back. I can spend more time another day keeping an eye on things and see if I can notice anything going on that might give us a clue about where everyone else is, but everyone else should know, and we can talk about what we want to do.
Right.
Thorin kind of like looks over from where he's probably like laying prone on the hill, peeking over the ridge. It's like, well, Konrad, should I stay here as a runner, or do you want me to come back too?
We probably shouldn't leave anyone out here alone just in case. Still got, what, a good 2 days? We can definitely keep an eye on the place for that amount of time.
Well, 2 days without having to start hunting, at least.
Yeah.
So you
Can you
guys
come back with me then?
retrace your steps.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Yes.
back then.
Yeah,
We
you
need
guys,
to
I won't
discuss
make you roll stealth again.
we
The last thing I want to note is, actually no, Enos, you got 10s. We'll say Enos. Conrad just didn't think to note it because it was small, but you noticed, even visible from very far away, relatively close to the old gatehouse, there is one building that looks like it's made of wood that's still standing.
Oh my god.
It's about 3 levels tall, very high pitched roofs. It does kind of look like the shingles and wallboards should have been sealed, but it probably shouldn't be that intact. But the framing and the way like the windows and kind of the eaves are designed is you think it might be a church.
A church. Interesting.
But yes, you guys shuffle back. You were stealthing, so you take a little while, but you guys wanted to say you went to the first ridge, so you guys are probably gone for like 30-minute tops.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Loth will have to unmute herself real fast, because while you guys are kind of waiting in darkness, Ike Wayland does come up to you and just kind of like taps you on the shoulder, and she's like, "All right, get off the chain shit."
Okay.
She holds her roll of tools.
Yep, I take it off and pass it to her.
All right. She starts to, very quietly start,
No, I was muted
pressing
because,
and-
if I lean back in my chair, it makes noises.
It's fair. Yeah. She will start to, effectively, knit back together the separated rings. She kind of mutters to herself, "Won't be quite the same, but we're far way off from a Nolan Forge anyway."
Honestly, as long as she has some snips and a pair of pliers, and maybe some spare chain, you can actually get it pretty good as new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering the circumstances and where we are, this is good enough.
Yeah, she definitely would have snips and tin snips and something resembling pliers in her kit. What she probably does not have on her is the extra chains. So.
Probably not. Then you're probably gonna have to probably take old chains, probably kind of refasten, and kind of smash them back in together.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured she's gonna have to do, is basically twist and knot them, and like she said, she's like, it won't be quite as durable as it was, but it'll be one contiguous piece again. And as she's sitting there, pliers, twisting this, snipping that, she intimidatingly with hands full of tools look over it at you, Logesh, from whatever rock or piece of dirt you're sitting on, and it's like, "All right then, what's going on with you and the Marquess?"
Talking about this, are we?
Yes, we're bloody talking about this.
A certain master of ceremonies has decided to light a fire underneath me. And so
He does do
instead
that,
of
yes.
instead of just being the Marquess's Cavalier, I've decided I need to think about something else. I need to grasp for something more than just to be his shadow.
She kind of arches an eyebrow and says, well, I don't quite think it was exactly like that. You gotta put an exclamation point in that, Dallas.
Yeah, I know.
For the audio people at home. Also, what are you rolling? You can't.
Oh, listen.
You don't need to roll. Listen, Ike is not having. She's not yelling, but she is not having this at a whisper tone.
Okay, then I
She is
knew it was
speaking at
dropping.
normal speaking volume.
Yeah.
Nicola just
Ike
slightly
Whalen,
leans to
very
the left.
straightforward. Yeah.
No, I'm currently in a meditative position to pretend that I'm having to concentrate a great deal, so that no one bothers me right now.
But you're listening
I feel
in.
like Alestra is probably like leaning on the staff, like standing kind of over your shoulder, because she's not like 100% sure whether or not
Jesus fuck.
you're meditating or not. So she's just gonna chill. But yeah, no, Ike is, like I said, she's got the twist in her hand and just kind of says, and she just kind of, arches an eyebrow and says, well, I don't think we quite thought of it that way, but that's what you think. And mutters to, she turns back to mutter in the chainmail and say, if you're trying not to be a shadow, you're not doing a great job of it coming all the way out to arse end of nowhere.
Well. Fuck, goddamn you, Omega.
Where'd she get a rivet gun?
It's a sudden jackhammer noises.
It's just a crafter. She just has it.
Sorry, that one was me.
Sorry, I got a open source audio pack.
Why do we
I
hear
stole the
like
sounds from Half-Life 2?
why do we hear a sewing machine? What the fuck? No, anyway. No. Well, it wouldn't do well if I just stayed behind and did fuck all while God damn it.
I'm sorry, I could not resist.
He's a demon.
Mods, crush his skull. Thank you.
Ooh.
The actual fucking template.
Okay.
It would not do well for me to stay behind while everyone else goes out here to solve the problem of the mystery of what's happening here and hopefully figure out what the fuck's happening. I have a vested interest in this to make sure that our realm prospers and we no longer have any issues. Hopefully, despite the fact that I've technically had my own status revoked, and I am just now...
No, she just says I. She's nodding.
Okay, good. Sorry, I heard that as I, not like I agreement, like I affirm.
Oh,
God, Dallas, don't have the things be... fuck it. Anyway. Sorry, my bad. I just saw the exclamation point, but still the P and O were capitalized. Anyway.
He tried to take it back. It didn't work. Continue.
So I am here to A, be of actual assistance again, even though, yeah, I'm staying behind here, but also if I was to go on the forward party, I am not good at sneaking. I would just be a detriment. B, personally, as petty as it is, upset with one Inos, so don't want to really be around him that much for the moment. And 3, I am trying to think about what I want to do. And since this is all out in the open now, the Marquess has suggested I become some type of marshal or justiciar. Which, Ike, what are your thoughts on that?
She kind of, sets her tools down on, a crate. Yeah, I don't think the Marquess told him that you suggested that. Which I think, in retrospect, was better. He did not say it was Inos' idea, actually.
Why would I?
Anyway.
That's a very
it's good
way to bring it up.
I mean, I think you have a very good sense, and I think you've got some points of empathy. I think we could say
Yes.
Leslok can occasionally read a room. It happens.
Leslok,
no,
listen,
I
Leslok
puts
can
her-
read a room.
puts her-
I can't. There's a difference there.
And this is why we
And
sometimes
actually-
we roll dice. But yeah, she kind of sets her tools down. She looks you dead in the face, and she says, looks you up and down and says, "Well, Logesh, I've known you basically all my life, along with everybody bloody else in this ruin hut." Stares up at the cloudy sky above. Once again, reminding you, no roof.
Yep.
But she looks back at you and says, "You're good at Quattrum. You're good at
What?
bossing around men at arms. You're pretty good with your bloody bardish. I suppose you could supplement it for a headsman's axe if you really like. But," she kind of looks at you on the side. "Filling up a role as a law bearer is, a responsibility. It's not one should shy away from. Lord Leofric was, appointed Lord Marshal for a number of years for a reason. But if you're concerned about being in shadows, well, I don't know how shadowy it is to enforce the law, but you'll still be running around enforcing the Marquess's law and the King's law above that. Goes back, does a few rings, and says, if you don't mind doing that, you're a good fit. You've actually started a reading for once in your bloody life.
I want to say something to that, but I won't.
You best not be questioning if I bloody will read."
And well, since this is not a secretive discussion, what do the rest of you think about this if I was to become a marshal for the Marquess? And
I
yes,
think
that
if
includes
it's-
you, Nicola.
I know. I can hear
Take
you.
that out of character.
I would say if it's something you enjoy, then do it. If it's something you don't enjoy doing, then don't. But I would like to say thank you very much for letting me know all this, because judging by how interactions have gone, I feel like Master Inos will be after bloody me next. So remind me to avoid him for the next year or so until he gets bored.
Enos never
You're
gets
gonna have a
bored, he just
bloody
finds
hard
something
time
else
with
to
that.
do.
I'll tell him you said that,
There-
by the way.
There is no
I know you
ignoring Enos.
I know you will. Oh, I can try.
You can try.
Also,
I
you're
mean, it's
already
not
a bloody
even-
court physician. What the blasted hell else do you have to do with your life?
Yeah,
I
what is he going to
don't
make
know.
you do?
She kind of
Is
she
it-
kind of
are
like
you-
rolls her eyes, and she's like, on the one hand, Nicola has a fair point. On the other hand, also, Nicola has a terrible point, because he has, thanks to his own circumstances, been able to gallivant for several years before he stumbled into a court-appointed position by virtue of being the best person we had to hand.
Yes.
Not saying he's bad at his job, mind you, but
No,
He's
you're
definitely, I think-
100% correct in that assessment.
he just happened to be, bloody well right at hand.
I'm good, and there was no one else.
Sometimes I worry about Enos and his.
Meddling?
Yes,
Sorry, helping.
It's both.
I feel
Uh,
like
Enos. Sorry,
Alestra has
Nicola.
to like lean over and like tap you where you've got like right on the top of your knee, with the iron staff while you're sitting cross-legged, and be like, "Oh, it's meddling now, is it? Was it meddling when you decided to involve him in, she gestures at herself.
You're right. I have no legs to stand on. Sometimes I fear me and Inos are too much alike.
But Nicola, as you were
What do you
there at the
like what's
time,
up?
the others you may not know, I was gifted a relic of a sword. I was not planning on really using it that much, but had some. This sword had some significance to it. Inos dared to question why I even had it, and so I traded it with him, and I pull out the diamond I got for this.
Yeah, it's got on you, damn.
That is a.
I am- It's a symbol.
I believe it's a large, flawless diamond.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Basically, Enos bought a super big diamond, cut it with his master goldsmithing thing to raise its value, so it went from wealth 5 to wealth 6.
Ike looks at the gem, looks at you, looks back at the gem, and she says, "Well, you're a bloody fool, but you're a well-paid bloody fool."
At least
Oh,
your
yeah.
spite is profitable.
I think you
Oh,
could,
yeah,
you
no.
could buy Konrad his new bloody castle with that stone. She kind of like leans in, looks at it a little. What the?
Not incorrect.
Don't give me ideas. I might do that.
No,
Jokes
you should pay
aside,
for a
though.
castle for your bloody self.
I wouldn't do that. That's his castle. Like I would. No. What I would
Not
do?
even as a gift. Yes, you. I can feel like she's reduced to. She just waggles her tin snips at you, vaguely. She
Yeah.
cracks them angrily a little.
The clamps.
In case you guys can't tell, it's been a little while since he's been on screen. Ike Wayland, very dutiful, very practical.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like she's very forward-looking and concerned with that. And she's certainly got the ability to be prim and proper if she likes, but she's like, personally, in fact, she might even say it that way. Well, personally, if I got a bloody magic sword, Inos would have to get it off my cold dead body. But shrug.
Well, if any of you want to find a good magic sword, I'm pretty sure Enos might be distributing it to the next worthy bearer. In the meantime, though,
Kind of sarcastically,
Nicola-
Ike says, "Well, a bloody will ask."
Maybe you
in the
should put it
meantime,
in the
though,
line.
when I, yep. Since you both are here, actually, and I know Nicola is good at getting materials of a certain quality, and we have a trustworthy blacksmith here, I would appreciate if when I get this thing appraised and sold, that I would like to get something forged that suits me and isn't something tied to something else, if you know what I mean.
When you
I
say material,
think just cracks her neck bones, stretches her hands out, just
Sorry, I was getting aspirin, but I'm just like, let the legend come alive.
when you say material, do you mean something durable or something sharp? Basically asking, do you want orichalcum or adamantine?
Amazine's on the table too.
Well, I can't do
you
that.
need to know somebody.
And spoiler, I don't think he's
also can't
talking
do
to the
that yet.
person who could do that.
Well,
Yeah, Ike
again,
also can't do that yet. She's only like
Oh no, Konrad
three
can.
deep in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Konrad can.
yes.
But I don't think any of us know that.
No, you
No,
should.
you've seen
He weld it.
Blade.
Oh yeah, that's right. He made Beast Slayer. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he welded that.
Yeah.
Like he used it earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, but if I may be so petty as to say, I don't want to involve my cousins, blood cousins, and Enos in this. Call it personal satisfaction.
From
you
the
can't
back
see it.
wall, where she's been sitting, arms folded, leaning against a wall.
Hold on, sorry.
Aurelia.
You can't see it. I am personally like squeezing my own hand when I'm talking with this.
Yeah, I know. But Aurelia has been here the whole time.
Yeah.
And she says, she kind of says to you, "Well, it's too bloody late for that, cousin."
Also, I don't want to be this pedantic, but we are blood related.
Yeah, but you're like not my direct cousin.
And your third cousin or some bullshit.
They're very distantly related. On the one hand, Logesh, you've done something probably very foolish. You had a position of authority, you had a steady stipend, you had a reason to use a room near the Marquess, and all of that. Nah. She makes a, vague waving away gesture. Now, on the other hand, as you said, you could do whatever you like now, and you've chosen to walk into the Fogveil. I think Inos is correct that you need to get your priorities straight in life. Maybe not the way he meant it. But
To be fair, I resigned from that position because of one Inos.
Also, to be fair, I think he was also against going to the Fogveil. I do just want to point that you
this is
weren't
also
sure.
true.
I can't
I
remember
feel
what
like
team
Logesh
you
was
were on.
ambivalent.
Oh yeah, no, you were on team.
I was slightly ambivalent because there was
Right.
concerning.
Enos,
But I'm here
Enos
now.
was against, yes.
Oh, Enos was against. Okay.
Yeah, Aurelia kind of shrugs and she says, "Of course. That's probably not exactly what he meant you to do. But
Aurelia,
it's probably something he thought of."
I am well aware that I am acting very illogical. I get that. I understand that very well. How often do I act illogical?
Well, you don't act at all.
Quite short, Enos.
Quiet Ghost of Enos.
He's got a point though.
Just flick the tiny Enos off of my shoulder.
the tiny Leslok.
Better to not act than to act in act. Better to not act than act rashly.
Don't listen to that
Aurelia
guy.
just kind of narrowed her eyes at Logesh. She did not respond. When you asked, how often do you know to act illogically?
Then
You are the
again,
most logical. You are the most logical of the Logi boys, for whatever that is worth.
I guess you would understand being someone who has openly, used your powers to spy on private conversations between us, and have dedicated yourself to your pursuits.
Aurelia's tone actually gets a little icy, and she says, "Yes, I've made sure to make use of everything available to me. I suppose I could waste my time being nothing and nobody, but quite frankly, I have better things to do."
I'm sure you
and
do.
she before you get any response, she
okay.
hops out the open empty window and just
Leave.
goes outside the farmhouse.
As they are away, the drama will portray.
I will attempt to move the glamour so that she doesn't leave it.
Yeah, you can do that because it's a.
The tendrils of illusion will stretch out around her.
When she leaves, I'll probably give out a sigh and say, I've got some definite apologizing to do in the future, but right now, I'll be content to just let this irrationality burn."
Oh, that's fine.
From where
Don't worry.
she's just laying down on the bare earthen floor, using her ruck as a pillow, Moira says, "Well, could be worse. You could have actually offended her."
Then she would have stabbed you.
No. Moira opens an eyelid and looks at Nika. Then I'd have had to
Moira.
take care of it.
Yeah, Moira would have killed me.
Fair
Not
enough.
stabbed, killed.
No, I think
she
you'd
wouldn't
still
have
have all your
killed you.
limbs left.
Just maybe the slight maiming.
I am not so bold enough to think I could survive an attack from the Great Moira Two Swords.
Well, no, should be
Not
doing it
own
on
some.
purpose.
Not own some. Personally, having spent a lot of time minding my own business, it's not bad, but also it's hard sometimes. Living on your own, running your own small business, running from people who want to stab you with sharp things, avoiding awkward questions. You should probably find something else to do with your time besides just, being yourself. But that's on you.
So, we've gotten off track. But, yes, that is my answer to you, Ike. I'm not trying to abscond or leave or anything. Yes, I did change my name. I did that purposefully. But,
Yeah, I heard him type loudly.
yeah. I don't plan on leaving if that's what you all think. I plan on actually staying, assisting, being of actual help to this family and this realm. Despite how I am right now, I'm not. Don't make me do it. Despite how I am right now in my emotional state, my loyalties to you all remain steadfast.
Honestly, I never questioned it. There are many things. Disloyal is not one of them.
Given my own actions and the way I've been behaving, I feel like I need to state that again.
That's
Because,
fair.
again, I'm aware how stupid I'm being.
Haven't we all been stupid at one point?
Yes, but still doesn't become. It still isn't very becoming.
That's fair.
I know. That's why it's so good none of you are here.
I know.
By the way, when you say which one of us hasn't done something stupid, I feel like
I think it's Conrad. No, never mind, Morgan.
No, Konrad is the top of my list.
no. NPCs wise, the only one, I think Ike just folds up her arms and says, "Never done a stupid thing a day in my life."
That is actually true.
Also-
Wheelman.
And I'm thinking Matthias as well. Has he done something stupid? I think he's been generally clean.
I mean, he
clean.
became my friend.
Might be a little stupid. Matt,
I
by
think
the
that
way,
was comments on
he
later.
is here. He has not been saying anything. I feel like he's just watching the conversation like he's watching a tennis match.
Yeah.
He's like, he's just like, oh, I'm not getting involved in this.
No,
Yeah.
no.
As Inos doesn't something.
Done. It's supposed to be done. I misspelled.
I would like to ask still. Accent. Meh. I still do need to ask. Would you prefer that in Orichalcum or motherfucker? My brain just fucking died.
Adamantine?
Calcum or Adamantine.
Adamantine. Thank you. That's the one I can do. Don't tell anyone I can do that, by the way. I technically obtained that information.
That's what I said. Enos has definitely done some foolish thing. I don't know if he's done anything dumb yet.
I don't think Inos has done anything that has put people to, yell at him in a room going, "Why the fuck did you do that?"
No,
Yeah.
no, yes.
guess that-
most of the things I consider idiotic from Enos are petty drama things.
I am the very drama.
I'm trying to think of things actually Leslok has directly done that is actually just stupid and not just like.
Planning an expedition to the Fogveil.
I think also
He committed to it.
He committed
I'm
to
just
it.
that
saying.
might be like the one thing which I said is like I said in character would be suboptimal, but would make sense for the group. But like usually no. Leslok has also done some things that were probably foolish or rash, but not usually stupid.
Yeah, no. Like, this decision of Logesh to resign as the Cavalier, lose his status, is outright stupid.
It would have been better if you probably just
I
asked
don't
for like
deny
a different
that.
position. Honestly,
All right,
Also,
I'm gonna
as I
nit-
was gonna say, for Inos might have. I don't think any of the things have concluded enough for them to go sideways on Inos yet.
Also, say this: I need to knit shirts for me and Logesh of. I used to be a noble, and all I got is the stupid T-shirt.
still a noble.
Well,
No,
Yeah,
no,
no, I'm
I am
planning.
not a noble. Are you kidding?
Yeah, technically no. He is.
I am
given
a
up all
lord
lands and
physician.
titles.
I am a lord physician, but I am not a noble. I gave up my nobility to my sister.
He's given up all his inherited lands and titles.
Obviously, different kind of situation, but I did the same thing Logesh just did.
And in character, Logesh will just mention for this Fogveil expedition, after the Fogveil expedition, he will talk to Leslok about becoming a marshal or justiciar. Just for this expedition, he is
Well,
no
we're all
one.
in it together.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'll conclude this conversation. But outside crew, roll eerie for me. People coming back. Because hey, guess what? Nicola is glamoring this thing, so.
Nada.
3 9s.
Yeah, pretty good. Like I said, Mora just kind of goes back to just laying down, resting, and she says, "Well, I don't know if you've traveled much to foreign parts, but it would be best for the rest of this trip if we were all nobody. If you know
That's
what I
very
mean."
true. I really don't like this place.
Nice. Oh, actually, that's right. I was going to mention when you guys crested the hill, because I mentioned earlier, they were like no bird noises. When you guys are like able to see the sea, you can kind of hear it distantly. You did hear a few scattered cries of gulls.
Hmm.
The seabirds are fine, but they don't want to come inland.
I don't like this. Once again, this place is cursed.
I do not like this place.
No.
Blah, 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 blah. So basically, as you guys approach back, you're hiking back after like your 30-ish minutes. To like your visual perception at a distance, the farmhouse you're approaching
Is it empty?
looks empty. Not necessarily sounds empty, but I don't think the guys are making a lot of sounds.
No.
Konrad and Leslok, since you rolled successful sets on your Eerie, you can tell this is because of a glamour.
Yeah.
You can tell that you can't like see through it without making another roll, but you can tell that the reason why it looks empty is there. Inos, you get a little bit of a tingly, but you can't tell anything. It just looks empty to you.
Is this the right? Is this the right farmhouse?
Oh, I did tell you I was going to do this, so.
Yeah, but Enos is still confused slightly.
No, that's fair.
To
I
all
guess-
of you, from nowhere, Aurelia's voice says kind of low, "Yes, it is.
Oh,
About 5 more feet."
Leslok was going to reflectively cast Glam Eyes just to like see through it, just to make sure. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, because Aurelia went outside. And like I said, if you guys walk like the 5 feet forward, it's like I can because you like fill a space with light. I imagine it's basically like you almost like step through a painting of the empty farmhouse.
ooh.
And when
Oh,
you're
yeah.
inside, you can like see people. But obviously, if
And
you were
you-
on the other side, it would just look like the image of the empty farmhouse.
And you can feel Nicola's magic around you. By the way, it feels
Yeah, you do
sad.
Yeah, but to
No,
say
it's full of angst.
there's a distinct melancholy sense to this room.
Well, no, it's because this is directly from my Fey ancestry, and my ancestor was a banshee,
Yes.
which is basically sad. They're the emos of the Fey.
Yes.
But Inos will, lightly greet Aurelia, clasp her on the shoulder and say, "Keeping watch.
Not
See
feel
anything?"
good.
Not particularly.
All right. Well, we got news to share, so
Need a little air.
this is
Next
going to
time.
be.
Wait, once you're inside, you can see the glamour doesn't affect you, so you can see everything.
Yeah.
But there
Should have put it
is.
back to the coin.
I'm sorry. What did you say, X?
I should. Those are just like out loud thinks. It's like I should have reported back with the coin. It would have been simpler.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you actually saying that loud, or are you thinking? Are you like muttering? That to
He
yourself?
thought that out
No,
loud.
yeah, it is. Leslok says it out loud.
Oh, it's like, well, we would have to come back anyway to plan. Don't worry about it, cuz. Come on. We need to report.
So you guys are inside the ruined farmhouse. Like I said, there's probably like a rock or a crate or something that you use as kind of like your central table that you're all huddle around.
It's amazing. This crate has survived.
While we're talking, Konrad will purposely
Casters
set
on
up
it.
that big piece of sailcloth, so we have some shelter should it start raining overnight.
Probably
Okay,
good
yeah.
idea.
Good idea.
But to save us on time, we will just explain what we saw. We will explain what we saw. The fact that the town looks mostly in ruins, but there are some intact buildings. Looks like there might be a path into town from the original main gate, and the bloody foxhound and the windlass is just chilling out there on the water. It's great.
So do you report
Well, the
exactly
dogs.
like Omega said?
Probably, yeah. Well, Konrad probably
Okay.
actually does most of the speaking because he has more detail oriented.
Nicola will actively look like, and you saw no movement from the town?
Inos shakes his head.
We were still pretty far away, and yeah.
Because my only thought about that is, why would they have their guns trained on the town?
Well, it's probably not so much they're trained on the town. It's just it's probably easier to point the foredeck forward.
Is that
like
is that true?
Generally, it is actually true.
Yeah, generally it is actually true. It's easier to pull in that way.
Yeah.
I don't think
That
there's a
said, like I
proper
said,
dock
it
anyway.
did kind of seem like the dock they picked was positioned so that because like I said, it's like a semicircle
Yeah.
town. The dock they did pick is so that their mortars are facing vaguely inland.
No.
Ideally, if he really wanted to be ready to shell this place, he would be parked like offshore for a broadside.
Yeah.
But having your mortars pointing inland is probably just like a little extra spice.
But
No,
that's what
that's
I
actually-
mean.
There was one detail I forgot to mention to Konrad because you were looking through the spyglass, and actually, Enos, you would have noticed this too if you looked at the spyglass. You get 10s on sight, because it's was parked forward. The Foxhound looked mostly no worse for the wear. You did notice that the forward railing, about where the anchor is mounted and the anchor chain is set, had recently been replaced.
I am. Nicola is genuinely proud about that.
I think Enos also shot the forward gun a bit, but I don't know if that was actually lasting damage. Anyway.
Now, as I mentioned, like, if we do still plan to stay here for our full time with rations, I can definitely find someplace closer, set up, and keep an eye out for other signs of habitation.
Yes.
Well, there is that, but we're not actually going to get any... Oh, what's the word I want to say? Concrete details. We might get some numbers and we might get some locations, but we won't necessarily understand what they're doing here. It's like there was 2 ships in port and there's no one walking around. We didn't see fires or anything of the sort of people cooking. We didn't see people walking the streets. So either something's up, they're underground, or I don't know.
Or they haven't left their ship.
No, they left their ship. We got pretty good eyes on the ship. It looks like they have skeleton crews aboard. We can see them walking around, and trust me, the one thing that sailors do not want to be on when they are close to land is on the ship. Inos probably shouldn't say that. Lucky knows that. Lucky was a sailor. Inos was not a sailor.
Listen, you've been around sailors. Like, whatever.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I hang out.
Actually, you have a very great way to phrase this, Inos. Enos, if you're on a boat and you're close to shore, do you want to be on a boat? No.
No.
Yeah. I know I wouldn't want to be on a boat when I'm near land, kind of thing.
No. So they're on land somewhere, but where, I don't know. That might warrant closer investigation, which means probably a couple of us have to probably go into town and find out.
Did any of you feel any tingling feeling, like any magic at work?
Inos shakes his head. We weren't close enough.
Like enough.
Like,
the only thing I felt was when we approached this dang place.
That's what I'm thinking.
If there's any sorceries involved, we won't really know until we actually probably get closer into town. Only the most powerful of sorceries can be felt at great range.
I feel like Everhelm's kind of tapping his foot and he's like, Colin, you said that ship was big enough for 150, 200 men?
Yeah. Probably more if they
Well.
modified it enough, but
Well, then we want to avoid anything resembling a straight-up fight. I know that's obvious, but just
Would
restating
be
it.
slaughtered.
Yeah.
If we had defensive positions, a small team can hold out against a much larger one for a long time. But yes, we should avoid straight-up confrontation.
Inos
But it
looks
sounds
around.
like they're not planning on confronting anybody.
Sunk the ship, they'd still be stuck here, but that's still something to deal with.
Well, also the problem is, if we start a fight here and it does go our way, they'll probably just flee to the ship and leave, and we won't be able to do anything to stop them. And with the Foxhound having its mortis bonfires, they can leave us a lovely parting gift as they get away.
I
mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna go do this, but I just had a thought. If there's only a skeleton crew on there, maybe I can get on the boat and cut the mast.
Oh, you don't need to cut the mast. You just need to wreck the tiller, the rudder. Without a rudder, they won't be able to turn the damn thing. And oh wait, no, they use oars.
See, I was just going to suggest setting the thing on fire, but
Yeah, how many firebombs you got?
both
Well-
these work. You wouldn't need fire. That's the way really real, by the way. She says, "Well, you wouldn't need fire bombs.
They have a powder room.
just oil.
They have dozens of guns.
Yeah.
Powder room.
You can't operate cannon without fire, sand, or demon fire, both of which
Oh, flammable.
makes a explosive gesture."
Man.
By the way, when you said about the tiller, I think like Aurelia kind of like perked up from where she was sharpening and kind of like gave Enos a significant look. One of the spells you did teach her is Shatter the Soul.
Yeah, I know. But
I'll give you this for free because even if Aurelia doesn't say it out loud, she can bring it up later. Even above the tiller, maybe not Enos because he don't swim so good.
No.
But Aurelia isn't attuned, so she doesn't have to worry about not swimming.
You can still swim.
Rudders are a separate piece of equipment.
yeah,
That being
Even if they have oars, they are
Can't turn.
the Galleus is also a flat bottom type of boat. Without the rudder to stabilize, that means that can get a little chaotic.
yep.
that being said, I don't much see the benefit to stranding them here if they would be able to repair it.
Well, honestly, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying that, but honestly, I like the idea of scuttling the Foxhound. If nothing else, it bogs them down and gives us time to maybe go back. Because
I don't know.
That's
Also,
true.
stops them from going out there and killing more people too.
well,
No, don't get me
yes.
wrong.
Yeah, there's that. That's
Yeah,
a good
no,
one.
No, I agree with you. I want to be
But-
clear. I wasn't being confrontational. I was genuinely asking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to say something, and I think Dallas said something, and then Konrad responded to Dallas. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, there's some back and forth there.
sorry.
Yeah.
But, so Inos is like, I do agree that we should probably try to scuttle the Foxhound because, like, I don't think we're going to be able to win in a straight-up fight, and I don't want... And if we do go back for additional men or supplies or whatever, I don't want to give them the time for them to go out and cause more harm.
That's true.
Or enough time to run away.
That's true. If we scuttle the ship, we could have the sea wolf come around. Now that we know where they are,
Inos shakes his head. We still don't know the route. The sea wolf is
That's
good.
fair.
The sea wolf is good, but remember, she has more of a normal hull. The windlass and the foxhound are more flat hulled. It makes it easier for getting over the sea hazards. Honestly, the sea wolf would be at a big disadvantage around here. No, I think Konrad has the right of it. We need to either permanently or temporarily disable the foxhound. Maybe the windlass too. I don't know what it's doing here, and I don't know if...
Abraham kind of folds his arms and says, "Well, I'm not much of a sailor, Enos, but I've got another idea.
Yeah, Enos
They've
gives
already
him
got a
voice.
small crew,
Gee.
skeleton crew, 10 men.
we commandeer
I
it.
can take 10 men. Couple of us can take quite set. I know Con knows a little about sailing. Nicola knows more. Most of us can probably pick up the basics.
Yeah.
We've been sailing before. She's a big boat, but not a complex one to sail, I don't think. Kind of
Yeah.
tilts
I'm
his
assuming you
head.
mean you
Wait.
talking about the windlass.
The windlass, yeah.
Do we take
Yeah.
the windlass and have it shoot the fox?
Well, no. No.
No, we don't have...
We definitely would want to make sure the foxhound's out before
The
we try
foxhound
and
would
steal
kill the
other-
windlass.
No, but
No, I do...
if you wanted to swiftly leave.
That might be the best idea. The windlass did look like it was flat bottom as well, so we might get a few scrapes on the bottom, but I think But as long as we have some extra wood, I can keep us afloat.
And hey, free boat.
And yes, hey, free boat. I think Lucy and our
Speaking of
masters-
which, what's the skill for piloting a ship again?
expert sailor.
Expert
Okay,
sailor.
yes, I do in fact have a lot of that
Yeah, it's
actually.
not
just-
coordination.
From a cartography thing, how far from
I have
here,
7 in expert sailor.
to Norport would be?
To Norport, that's on like the southern peninsula. That would be even a fast boat, weeks.
Where the
I haven't named it, but
like
there
the
are
western
probably
corner?
ports. Yeah, on the western side, they're not big, but there would be sailing ports you could access.
Aim for
That would
those.
probably be within a couple of days, depending on the wind.
Well, we might be able to I think
Because the reminder also, the flute type boat has very tall, very big masts for its hull size, so it's fast.
they might also have... They're riding high, so they might not have a lot of cargo, but they might have some extra victuals on board to last
And
us.
worst comes to worst, if Konrad thinks it necessary, that's not how I wanted to phrase that. Regardless, it might be prudent to collect some rations before we go on this adventure.
Well, now, Enos is going to, raise his hand. Now, there's a problem with this plan. I do think it's all well and good to smash the foxhound, steal the windlass. But that means that everyone here is going to have to go through Svardis to get to the windlass.
Yes.
And while I know many of us are good at sneaking, I know not all of us are great at it. I think we might need to do a little bit of scouting ahead of time and try to fully understand what's happening in that town before we commit to this plan.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
So
Moira
Konrad,
kind of nods along.
It's like, Konrad, I plainly want to say this, I'm for your plan. I think probably you and a small team should probably get up on the foxhound, break whatever you can, blow it up, and then jump for the waters and make for the windlass where the rest of us gets there.
Yeah.
That is probably going to be some sort of night attack, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I think Enos kind of pauses and, kind of shudders and says, I think I should try getting into town and to dig up information. It's like,
I would like to accompany.
that's like, no, I think it just needs to be me. I think I can make a good enough story and make a good enough lie to make them, well, if not trust me, at least tolerate my presence.
Okay.
Well, what did you want to do going into town, Nicola?
I did not want to go into town for any specific reason. I just do not think it is smart to have anyone going off alone.
It's true. It is not smart, but it is needed.
Well, this is Moira. She says, I understand what you're getting at, and you're not wrong. Speaking as probably the only one of us here who's ever crawled into a nest of pirates and gotten out, more information will be better. I think
Don't make a
Konrad
joke,
should
Tommy.
probably scout ahead first, just because we need to know where they're coming and going. Moira kind of like tilts her head at you, Inos, and she's like, "Yeah, you did something when you left, right?"
Enos will just kind of, Enos
She
will
kind of
just
holds up both her hands, like, you know, she's trying to do like the framing a picture or painting thing, but she like moves them around, you know, like she's not sure how to frame Enos, basically.
Yeah, Enos will basically just like be quiet and just kind of lean back and just become part of the background.
Yeah, that.
Yes, it's an old Iron Demon trick. It allows us to basically we don't walk unseen, but we walk unnoticed. As long as I can act like I belong there, no one will suspect a thing. So, Enos, kind
That's
of
the rub. That's why I think Konrad should go ahead, because, well, I'll put it like this. These guys, they're up to no good.
Mhm.
They're not supposed to be here. We know that. They know that. If there is anybody living in these bloody hills, they probably know it too. So, I don't know if they've got guards, but they probably have spots where people are supposed to be and where people are not supposed to be. If Konrad tells you where those are beforehand, you can probably look a lot more like you belong.
That is true. If questions, I think I can come up with a reasonable enough story, but it'd be smarter if I knew some things ahead of time.
Information will be key here.
Getting into places you're not supposed to be, says Moira with lie 3. Let's see. It's usually pretty easy to just say that you're somebody new and they don't know you.
Well,
What was it again? 200 of them? Another maybe 50 in the other boat?
oh, actually, I was just gonna say that was from the old Flat Salts gang. Recently got broke up, and I ran for my damn life.
Okay. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be rude, Enos. How many Iron Demons are employed in these gangs?
The better question is, would they know how many Iron Demons are employed in said gangs?
Well, if it's 0, they probably would.
Well, no, I think Inos is banking on the fact that they're never going to have heard of the flat salts out here.
No, I mean, if they know they don't have any Iron Demons on their crew.
No. What Inos is saying is he's going to be a runaway. The problem is,
Oh,
run
I
all
see.
the way from Teine?
Yeah,
Allegedly, we just crossed the only pass that was sealed up.
Enos shrugs. Secret Iron Demon ways.
Well, that's as good a lie as any.
I could. Nah.
Also, it might not work on like the higher ups, but like if there's guards.
That's true.
It's
the
like,
grunts
I am nowhere interested in anywhere near the higher ups.
you turn a corner, bloody Brad is like, "Hey, you!"
Moira kind of like holds her hand to her chin and says, "Actually, no. You should avoid someone who knows what the bloody hell they're doing at all costs."
Yeah.
Because if one of these pirates learned, one of them with half a brain learned that there's a secret Iron Demon way back into Teine, well, they probably want it. If nothing else, it's valuable.
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I put some thought
So
into
maybe
it.
mention that only if you have to.
But since it doesn't actually exist, as long as I can get away, it won't be a problem.
It technically does exist, Inos. They just have to be a soul crafter.
I mean, Shadow Pass isn't purely. I guess it doesn't matter.
Well, the Shadow Pass also has its own host of problems: volcanic gases, bone
If there's
devils, a giant magic door.
I may not be the best liar, as I say with lie 2,
Bone Devils are
but the one thing I do know about lying is it's not always about telling 100% not the truth.
Yes, Dallas, I know. I'm going to use
Who?
I mean,
Who?
sorry, I'm. Don't you who me?
I don't know. I don't know no Dallas.
I
Mass
know,
back on Dallas.
Nicola. I say with lie 3. It's yes, I will be interpreting truth and facts, because yes, there was a smuggling gang that we had that recently got broke up. Yes, there was some remnants that got away. They were attached to a mining guild in which iron demons may be attached to, because maybe they didn't get along with their own brethren. So maybe one of them, and after chaos, fled for their lives, but because they could not actually, stay at any of the towns, so being wanted, they made their way back over here, because they have heard that there might be a port up here of his kind, and he might be able to get an in with them. And to bypass the Shadow Pass, he went through some secret paths that he knows through the dragon spikes.
Moira raises a finger and says, "It's good you thought of all this." No, I didn't. No, genuine. That's good prep. But to disagree slightly with Nika, the best lie is the lie you never have to tell.
It's true. It'd be better if I don't have to talk to anyone. I'm just preparing in case I do.
But you've got a grasp on it if you're caught. Moira kind of pauses and says, "I could skulk, but if these guys got any news from the capital," she kind of gestures at, the 2 swords she's wearing. "Unfortunately, I'm back in vogue."
But enough on that, real quick. Because, Konrad, I would like you to scout ahead, but also you need to probably think about who you're going to take along with you on the sculling the ship. It's a big boat, and you probably will get in a bit of a fight. You probably want a couple people around with you. I would suggest Aurelia. She's good with the blade, and she has some nifty tricks up her sleeve that I've taught her.
You can blow up stuff like you can.
I think it really just, cracks knucks.
It's like she's very good at deconstruction in various ways.
Okay, well, I got all this day to think about it, but it's going to be us scuttling the boat while the rest of you are commandeering the windlass, right?
Yes.
Yes.
gonna
I will
need
help with it.
At least a little bit of fighting strength to do that. All right. I'll think back. I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm hungry.
Omega?
Is there any food?
Yes. Me and Matthias would probably have been cooking things.
Yeah, Medius can
Probably
get on
Matthias.
your
What's
salt
Matthias cooking?
Is it like 5?
like 5, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, five just in the cooking?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Knowledge 3, expert cook 5.
Oh yeah, he's head chef then, because I am expert cook 2, knowledge 5.
Not much one for skulking and whatnot. But I know about fire. I know a few other things.
And you're the most solid pair of hands I could ask for.
Omega, question about distances. From the hill we were at, would that be perfect range for an arquebus?
What's an arquebus's range?
Long.
So like 250. Perfect range? Probably not. It was once a sizable town, but you could definitely be within range to pick off targets.
Okay, I was thinking about I could do range support until I have to move in. If we do this.
I mean, if you're stealing the boat, no, that would be way too far away.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to haul ass through the entire town to catch up.
Plus, we definitely want Logesh with you when we get or Everhelm, whichever the fuck is supposed to be by you right now.
Everhelm.
I also like to think Ike says Everhelm at the same time.
Aurelia has
Everhelm
to
just kind of-
passive aggressively say it.
The behind.
I think Aurelia doesn't say
Konrad
anything.
looks
She
at
just
Leslok.
folds her arm and stares at Logesh. Everhelm just kind of like shrugs his shoulders.
Going back to cooking. Going back to cooking.
Anyway, so
Fine then.
what
Yeah,
I
so-
believe what should happen is, for the rest of today, we focus on long-range scouting. Konrad can keep a lookout from afar or up close, however he feels. I trust him with that. Tomorrow, I try to sneak into town, get what information I can, and probably that night we will try to do some sort of raid. Does that sound agreeable to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
All the NPCs kind of like nod along.
Yeah,
Alright.
this is good. This is good.
Nicola is...
bread, sugar.
Yeah, but hunger is the best spice.
And he just nods solemnly.
Alright.
Yeah, so you guys can.
Nicola is going to hand Inos something.
Yes.
A potion of stone skin.
I forget, does this have a visual effect?
Not the potion, I believe.
Let me see here. Well, I'll take it. How long does it last?
6 hours. It's within. It's is it heightened hours or within hours?
It's with an
Which
hour
one?
bones.
Stone skin. If it's within hours, 3 hours.
Okay, so
damn,
probably want to use
If
it.
it's height, it's 8 hours. If it's height, it's 6 hours. If it's width, it's 3 hours.
Both are still pretty good. Let me see. I'm in.
Regardless, long time.
Found it. It's okay. Oh, the AR doesn't scale anymore. Okay.
The AR is
Okay.
never scaled.
It stacks with the worn armor.
No, yeah, it's stacked with worn armor, but not other AR.
Yeah, most magical sources don't stack together.
Then Inos will hand it back. Well, actually, no. Wait, maybe. Omega, my does that stack with Enos's ring and racial ability?
Racial ability definitely would, because it stacks with my class ability. So
Yeah, that's a passive. Your magic, I think they would not like cancel out. You just wouldn't get better than the one. The thing is that Stone Skin is for all physical attacks and sorcery of all kinds.
All right, then yeah, okay, that's probably actually better then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be
It's-
3 hours
it's-
then. It's with.
Armor for all sources, but it's limited by time.
Yeah. Okay. So he will
Yeah,
put that in
it's-
his. He'll put that in his potion pouch next to his 2 healing potions, and his panacea. I now have filled up all 4 of my potion slots. I can carry no more.
Oh, you only got 4 potion slots?
Well, I'm not the fucking
Nicola-
Says with
alchemist.
a bag full of potions.
Nicola puts his like 28 potions.
He's got a big bag.
It's got my bag.
Need some
To
great
be fair-
spells to have more potion slots.
16 of those are healing potions.
They only last so long.
60 days.
Well, with that, nah, he'll do it before he actually heads out. Inos is probably gonna go. Off be by himself, kinda. He'll get like a bowl of soup, get like a bowl of food, eat it quickly, and just go meditate in a dark corner of the farmhouse.
Hey, Omega, can I do something. There's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I never really found an opportunity to do it.
Actually, is there a
What
cellar
would you
here?
like to be doing? Yes, there should be a cellar.
Can
Let's
I
go hang out in the cellar.
examine? Can I examine the grass and soil?
Yeah. What skill would you like to be using for this examination?
I think the most appropriate one, if I'm doing grass and soil, is probably knowledge chemistry or expert
Yeah.
chemistry.
Yeah, student of chemistry. You can roll that.
Yeah, is that fair?
Yes. Take out a little trowel, dig up some soil, pluck some blades of grass.
Because the fact that there's no animals around here is really freaking me out.
There's animals around here.
There's goats up there.
There's skulls.
Can you hear them?
When you get close to the town, you can hear the gulls.
On land.
Hey, look,
Well,
there's
two
one right now.
times.
Watch as it falls to the ground. Oh, that's a bad sign.
2 tons.
All right. From a chemistry point of view, there's only so much you can do with whatever stuff you brought, but you
Yeah.
pluck some grass. Like I said, you dig through some soil, you look at a couple of rocks. The land itself is healthy enough, I guess I would say. Like the soil's not like super depleted. It's also
It's not
not
like
like super
poison.
nutrient rich. It's wild, for lack of a better term. Despite the fact that, a few hundred years ago, this was a farm, the soil has basically returned to a state like it has been untouched by humans. There's probably the regular level of like decay and detritus in the soil. Plants die, insects die. And I want to say, obviously, you can't hear them very loudly, but if you dig around in the earth, you might find a few earthworms, stuff like that. Like there's
Okay, so there
big,
is
small
life.
animals.
There is life in its.
Yes,
The land isn't dead.
but definitely based on your understanding of like natural philosophy, there's no like birds to eat that are eating the worms, but that means that there's not like a shitload of worms, like little rats to eat, the little grain. If you had to guess, this is starting to leave the field of chemistry a little, but talking about just like logical, there's nothing inherently wrong with the land or the plants here from a chemical sense. Other than that, maybe if you dig pretty deep in the soil, there's some like very, very old like ash layers, but that would be like doing fucking, like
Excavating.
layer by layer sifting and shit. So you probably can't find that with just a cursory glance.
It goes in the realm of geology.
Yeah.
But in the or also proto-archaeology, layer by layer stuff. But no, the general vibe you get is that, one, like I said, this place has kind of returned to nature. It's just doing natural order shit when it comes to plants and soil. When it comes to animals, there are animals here. You can see the goats. Konrad and Inos said they can hear gulls in the water, so there's water birds. There are insects. You think there may be signs that, like, occasionally there are medium to larger animals. Like, there may be a rat or two around. So nothing's poisoning them.
They're just not here.
Logically, your best guess means that, like, it's not chemical, like I said, but, I'll let you spin some more wildish theories. You could probably think that, like, does that mean that at one point the humans who were living here, because it does not look like, based on what they described, Svardis was not, like, overwhelmed by the undead or, burned down in a riot.
No.
Konrad did see some signs that the homes of the rich and wealthy were sacked or searched, but obviously you have no fucking way to tell when in the past 500 years that was. So
It's almost like the life here just simply stopped.
Yeah, maybe a whole
it
bunch.
could be that, like, the people who did live here just got so desperate they ate fucking anything,
Everything.
which does happen in famines. You're not supposed to do that because humans are not. Your nutrition is not balanced to be eating fried rat all the time and stuff like that. But could have gotten that bad, and then just the people left when there was nothing left for them to eat, and things just returned. But then why do the animals not come back? You can only assume that there's some kind of unnatural pressures here, but you're not sure what they are. We've had this conversation before about monsters and stuff. Monstrum do need to eat, but they don't eat everything. This is actually something I want to bring up because Axe always says, why are there non-magical animals then? Because in real life, most animal species know not to eat continuously.
Yeah. They eat when they're hungry.
They don't keep eating. And so long as there's that natural balance of rise and fall, you don't need to consume as much.
Fair. I always kind of took that monstrums as a calamity would never actually have would function like true animals and more just like a thing trying to purge the world.
Not to be gross, but there are actually cases where animals will get sick and feel endless hunger because of that sickness, and then they eat so much their stomachs burst and it kills them because you cannot destroy mass. You only have so much room.
Monstrum, especially because beasts of Calamity of the Beasts are similar to real life animals, just bigger and scarier. Many of them are not inherently magical. They are just unnaturally large and fierce and aggressive to humans. So they do still need to eat and balance out their stuff. There are, monstrum which appear to be based off herbivores, which are relatively docile unless you are interfering with their territory, in which case they'll fuck your shit up. So
honestly, if
there is a higher presence of monstrum in this area, but also it doesn't look like there's giant monster tracks here.
If the gods wanted to create these all-consuming monstrum, they wouldn't have used animals. They would have used insects because insects can often devour a whole lot more than animals can, based obviously vis-a-vis their size.
Yeah.
I guess
but yeah, so Nicola, you're thinking about the chemistry and stuff, and you're like, okay, something has clearly put pressure on these animals. It's not in the soil. It's not in the plants. You could eat this grass.
Yeah.
But
I'm not going to do that.
No, you won't do that because you know better. You shouldn't eat grass. Humans are balanced for it. But
our stomachs suck.
There's nothing stopping animals from living here in the environmental conditions, so it must be something else.
It's something unnatural.
There is a third factor, which you're not sure how long the animals in this area have been depressed. You're pretty sure that Bloody Bread hasn't been camped out here more than a month, but if pirates regularly camp in that port and do as pirates do and sally forth ashore to get snacks, that could be why there are less animals in this area.
Also, the fact that not that just we found Bloody Brad, but do we know who the captain of the Windrose is?
The Windless?
No
idea.
Windless?
Never seen it before. You got the name just by reading the back.
So just the fact that there is potentially another pirate ship here means that this may not be a Bloody Brad hiding place, but more a secret. I don't want to jinx it, but Pirate Brotherhood hiding place.
Brotherhood wasn't supposedly up here.
Isn't that what they were calling themselves? I can't remember.
Well, we don't
know.
There
was a Pirate Brotherhood. You think that's from the Cauldron, but you're not really up on your pirate lore. Could be another thing to investigate.
No. Most of my fantasies involving pirates have nothing to do with being helpful.
You can go ask the House Marin about it when you see them next.
Definitely.
Well, if we can scuttle the Foxhound, especially in the bay, that thing's a big ass ship. Actually, how much of the bay does the Foxhound take up?
It's like I said, they only have like probably 4-ish piers like rebuilt, but the entire inner shore of the bay was converted to docks by this town. So it only takes up a relatively narrow slice. But like I said, you can't just park a big boat on the dockside. So that would mean that somebody would have to like start rebuilding piers and quays.
No. Also,
Because if you,
well, if we can also wing it, we should probably do some damage to the docks on the way out.
we'll see what happens.
Honestly, I get the impression that it feels like there's maybe some kind of exchange between like the two crews, but not sure.
Maybe they're having a secret meetup.
Nicola is still convinced the town is infested with zombies, but
I feel like that we would see
Well-
like at least one or two of those if that came up.
Yeah, we didn't see any Walking Dead in the town.
For sure, they
What
wouldn't be
we
able to
did
hide that
see-
easy.
Was that most of the
Church.
walls for the city citadel was still intact, says Everhelm. And if these pirates are as unnerved about sleeping overnight in this land as we are, well, that's where I'd go.
So that's where I should probably not go.
But also, there's other buildings. There's like a town hall. There's some mansions. There's what was it?
There's a church.
Big blocky
A
dockside
church.
buildings. Oh yeah, that was a little weird.
a perfectly preserved church.
It wasn't perfectly preserved.
That
But
doesn't
sorry,
ring any
way
alarms.
way better than it should have been.
Oh, it's
Actually, good
something to
question.
check.
Yeah, Enos, you don't have any like engineering or anything.
Nope.
You don't
I
know
do,
much. Yeah,
actually.
you wouldn't know much about wood.
I did.
You know what the answer is?
I know, Loth. I know. I thought of it
It
too.
would. Look,
But yeah, no. It sounds like you guys
Nicola
are
knows all about wood. I mean, what?
chilling in your time period before nightfall. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
I would probably inform the group that there is no magical nor chemical poisoning in the land, but something is driving the wildlife out of the region.
It could be a lot of things.
So that means we're going to be taking watches tonight.
Point towards
Yes.
goats.
Yeah.
What about them?
What?
Thorin like kind of cranes his head up at the goats you point out, and he says, "Well, Mr. Konrad, don't know much about goats, but look a little small for herds back home."
How
That's what
close are the
Nicola means.
goats?
They're visible, but they're like up in the mountain foothills above you. You'd have to
Oh, okay.
like you could walk up like if you wanted to like grab a goat to eat.
Yeah, like
No, I didn't
Connor's
grab
not
a goat to eat.
specifically pointing at any single goat. He's gesturing in that direction towards where the goats
Yeah.
were.
I just wanted to look at one of them maybe more up close.
I imagine Thorin just kind of sighs because he is sensing he's soon going to be told to go catch a goat.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. No. I'm not going to do that. My
Oh,
curiosity is not worth potentially sending someone into an unknown situation.
Actually, here's a spyglass. See if that helps.
That actually would. What are the goats' colorations?
Demon.
Probably natural for local mountain goats. You know, kind of grayish,
Okay.
I imagine.
So they're not black then.
No,
Got it. Okay.
brownish, grayish.
Got it. All right. Fair enough.
Thorin probably feeds
Nope.
his birds some salt pork and says, "I haven't seen any other birds around. Don't know if I should let mine out. If there are any small animals, you could catch one and bring it back, but teachers when we're falconing to send messages and the like.
Yeah.
Shouldn't send your bird up if it's the only thing in the area."
I can't tell if it's dangerous. I think it would be safer to err on the side of caution because, well, there are no signs of danger here. It could just be that there are no birds here because there's no food for them. So why would they be here? But still better to err on the side of caution.
So we're having watches tonight, though. Either way,
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
And that's I will take third watch. What's the last watch?
Well, that depends. How many watches you want to take and how many hours?
I was assuming
It's spring.
four. I was
and it's
assuming
technically
four
late
two.
spring.
I was assuming 4 2-hour watches.
That's 8 hours.
For 8 hours.
Days are, or nights, I should say, are shorter. So that's probably around the right zone.
I'll take last.
If we're gonna do something important, we should get at least some rest.
Yeah, I'll take first watch since I'll probably be heading out earlier in the morning to get to start scouting.
I assume Thorin, you would want to take one of the watches because you are good with eyes.
I'll sit up with Konrad then. Take first.
Alright. Your lordship, I know your eyesight is
I'll take
extreme.
last.
What?
I'll take last one.
So you want to watch with me then?
Sure.
Okay, we still have 2 watches we need to fill.
And I haven't been
I'll take
volunteered,
third.
so
Says,
Logesh?
Everhelm.
I'll take third with Everhelm.
All right, we got 1 more watch to fill.
Well,
Then everyone speak up at once.
I'm going to draw names out of a hat.
but I'm not one much for it, says Matthias, but I suppose I can take the second.
Thank you.
What about
what is
Inos?
it?
Yeah, in case you guys haven't forgot, Inos has left. He's not in this conversation.
Yeah,
Inos. Hold on, let me find him.
Inos, roll listen. Just because it'll be funny.
Wait, wrong pool.
Actually, wait. Oh, wait, this is perfect use for the coin, actually. It's like, what watch do you want on?
With 3 threes before any coin stuff happens, you hear, kind of like vaguely through the cellar foundations. And then yes, no, it's not even an action to use sending away. So just the. Actually, good question. Inos, where do you keep your coin?
It's on a pouch, on his belt.
Your coin vibrates as I imagine.
It's like a whisper in
the
the
way
back
it
of your
works
head.
is like the image on the coin like moves its mouth to speak, so it's muffled like it's in a pouch, but it just kind of like soft, slightly distant is Leslok's voice of like.
There's something alive in the ocean. But Inos will pull out his coin and be like, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Unfortunately, doesn't work both ways.
Oh. I probably should have asked the Marquess how this
Where
works.
would Inos go?
Well,
He's in the cellar.
Inos will, pop out. It's like, I'm sorry, did someone call for me?
Yes, we're discussing watches for the evening. Would you like to take a watch?
Inos kind of, narrows his eyes. Like, is it mandatory?
No.
Yeah, you're watching with Leslok. You're taking the last watch. I'm going with Matthias in a second. Have a good night.
I refuse this.
The sun's not even set.
I was like, also, why are we deciding watches? We still have most of the day. Shouldn't you be discussing scouting, like initial scouting plans?
The subject came up and we were at risk of drawing lots.
Oh, I see. But no, considering I'll be spending a lot of stressful time in a town tomorrow, probably dodging pirates and trying to act like I am someone with less intelligent than a sea urchin, I would like to get a full night's rest.
In that case, who would like to watch with our dear Marquis?
Would that be
Moira folds
fourth
her arms and
watch?
says, I'll do it.
I was about to
You're already
volunteer
third
myself
watch.
again. Yeah.
No, you need
everybody
sleep.
keep your watches. No more swapping.
Yeah.
The 2 young ladies rest. Moira stares very significantly at Aurelia.
Eh.
And will include Ike, but only because I feel like it. And not implying that she needs the rest.
Inos does not
I
actually
just kind of
scoff
like
out
shrugs her
loud,
shoulders.
But
All right, so yeah, it's Konrad and Thorin first watch.
Yep.
Nicola Mattias second watch. Logesh Everhelm third watch. Leslok Moira last watch. Everybody else gets to sleep. Good job.
yay!
Yay!
But no, Inos is not incorrect, by the way. It's probably
Yeah.
still only like
Probably
4 p.m. at this point with all your talking. Like, you had a supper, obviously.
Probably still got 5
And
hours.
since you're eating,
I
like I said,
guess
bread
I'm
and salt
thinking
brief.
it's
Yeah,
later
I
in the
thought
day
it
for
was
some
later.
reason, so
I don't know why.
No, you guys didn't talk that long. Like I said, it was like, you were away for like
Hour.
an hour tops round trip.
Look, time is timey-wimey.
Time is a flat circle.
All right, well,
It's like 4 in the afternoon.
I can't. I'm not gonna be able to do a lot of scouting before it gets dark. I'm just gonna go find a spot over on that hill a little ways away and see if I can spot where if any fires or anything once it gets to evening.
I am going to see if I can
Connor,
move
we'll
something
go do
around.
that. Ignis is coming along.
I think Leslok's gonna drawing out the layout map of just actually have like something to like point at when we discuss this.
Honestly, if you've been working the whole time, you've probably got a pretty good sketch based on what you recall.
Yeah. Put on a memory.
Man, Leslok can make some accurate ass maps.
With
And I have drawing
photographic
skill,
memory
too.
plus skills, yeah. No, he's good.
I'm going to make a roll to
Make sure
cast
the
a
same island
spell.
doesn't get on maps 3 times.
Which
Is
spell
that okay,
are you
Omega?
casting?
Smoke and mirrors.
Ah, that's okay with me. Is it going to be okay with the rest of them? Because that means you have to start a small fire.
Inos has
You have
once
to,
again retreated to the cellar, being the basement dweller that he is. So he has no input on this at the moment.
Technically, I can disguise most of the fire.
I mean, you can disguise it up to a certain radius, I guess.
I mean, you could conceal
Yeah.
it.
But
Did you
but
mean
what,
like
once the smoke leaves the maximum area of the Great Glamour, which is only so large.
Oh, it's a glamour.
also you might want to make that endurance roll, or is it a vigor roll?
Yeah, actually, this is a good question. Have you been Great Glamoring the entire time we've been talking?
No, I have not. I dropped it once they got it inside.
Okay.
Okay, I did
Well,
not hear
then
that.
you need
so.
to spend 15 minutes to redo it if you want to hide it, I think.
Yeah.
What specifically?
I was
is
also
smoke
going
mirror?
to do it a little bit wet. It's divination.
Okay.
I'm just
Alright.
looking to see good omens or not.
If nobody else is gonna fight you on it.
Yep, so long as you do it in such a way where hopefully we won't be seen, but
As
Yeah,
long
no,
as-
I'm gonna go.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
go
how
a
magic
tad bit
works.
away. Not a long way away, within sight still, but just in case.
Well, as long as it's not a big ass fire, they might not notice the smoke. You do have to travel a little bit to get
Yeah.
here.
Small, yeah. You just need a small vessel to do it in,
Trying to find
and then
Yep.
there are specific things in this one. It's in secret because it's
Oh,
pyromancy.
it's that one.
Pyro.
Secret sorcery.
The
Don't
smoke, it already got me.
The smoke.
What sort of thing do you do to burn? You know, do you want to use a little bit of briar, fistful of salt?
I would be using. What would Nicola use?
Lump of animal fat?
Definitely briar. Probably animal fats. And probably
The briar's probably
honestly,
the easiest.
just as a something Nicola would have on him. Dust from basically a forge and just things that remind him of home. Ash.
A little bit of ash, a little bit of briar.
Yeah. Things that invoke the house.
What's Inos doing in the center?
He's gooning.
And you would be
Ah,
saying a
Make it a disguise.
He's becoming a goon. Hey, boss, I'm walking here.
I haven't had a shower in 2 weeks. Maybe 2 months.
Yeah. And then I would be yeah. I think that's it. Before the casting of the ritual, though, I will offer a prayer to Fornaxia.
Yep, you got it.
Fornaxia.
Fornaxia.
That's right.
Also fun. I mean, this is already intensity 1, so it's not really likely to do it, but it does explicitly note this spell does not trigger Eerie.
No.
As far as anybody looking at him thinks he's not even doing magic at all.
That's why it's secret, because it's not really seen as common sorcery.
I'm not there to wonder why Nicola's doing weird stuff.
Yeah, you're hiking back up to the ridge.
Yep.
Nerevar. Come, Nerevar. So that's 3 6s.
Moon and stars.
It is an intensity 1, so higher and width don't really do much for this, but
Okay, I'll just do 3 6s. Why not? It's thematically appropriate.
yeah. So you spend 5 minutes kindling a small fire, and you throw your offering in, and then watch the smoke.
I'm probably frantically checking my notes while I'm doing this, making sure, because this is the first time I would be casting this.
Yes, I believe it is. So, normally, it talks about different kinds of smoke have different kinds of attributes. When you start this process, you get kind of a what would be, a bad omen, thick, darker smoke. But as your little sprig of briar, your lump of animal fat burns, kind of like a little extra spark. The flames kind of sputter and then leap back up and kind of split and divide, and the smoke starts to become straightened. If you had to guess, it means that your current course of action is dangerous, but there is an opportunity for it to produce good effects.
Okay.
So the next time you act on these omens, you get plus 1d.
Okay. All right, I will go back to the hut.
Presumably after, dumping out your firebowl and
Oh
snuffing it
yeah,
out.
burying it, yeah. No.
Alrighty. All right, so I think we're just killing time. So Konrad, you go hike back up to the bridge.
Yep.
You're looking. You're gonna study closely.
Yes. Probably
Go ahead and
waiting.
roll.
Waiting for evening to go, and we'll be heading back before it gets pitch dark.
Yeah. Actually, I think I have some
Come, Nerevar, come.
notes about the eventide.
It's gonna be stuck in your head now.
Good. They go through our approves.
Come, Nerevar, come. Friend or traitor, come.
Sorry, I'm looking Yes. So, as it gets closer to evening, the overcast cloud cover was already pretty like heavy, but you kind of like feel the cloud cover start to thicken as the night starts to get a little cool. And as it gets to around dusk time, mist and fog starts to roll in from the seaside and kind of cling to the dockside. With no roll required, you can tell, because this is how human eyeballs work. A couple of very small watch lanterns are lit on the Foxhound and on the Windlass, but not like full lanterns like you would normally if you were like keeping a night watch on a boat. Everybody's below decks, so you light a lot of fucking lights so you can see. This is not that. They keep it very minimal.
Anything from the town?
That is what I would like Konrad to roll Scrutinize for. Okay. And you have to beat a difficulty 3.
All right.
Because it is dark and foggy.
I'm pretty sure Ignis cannot help me with this Scrutinize.
Nope.
He licks your eyeballs.
Inos would dodge the difficulty. He'd still have to roll Sensible Scrutinize.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Eventually, I'll be good at that. That day is not today, though.
Yeah, 9s.
All right, scrutinizing, studying closely. You look for fires, for smoke, for signs. You look around and you're trying to analyze stuff. You're looking to track people, looking for signs of movement. So, yes, there are fires. It looks like, though, for pirates, these guys are very disciplined with fire and lights. The only signs of fire is that you would guess, based on the light, and you got what, 9s?
Yeah.
Based on the relative level of light, and it's a little hard in the nighttime with the fog to tell the amount of smoke, but you can kind of guess. You would guess in that citadel, in the fort, they must have a pretty big bonfire or cook fire going. And maybe some like smaller sources of fire. There's a couple of guys over there who you can spot with this Scrutinize because they're carrying hooded lanterns. So they're not shedding a lot of directional light, obviously, but you can
imagine I spot them whenever they
dark.
Walk in front of wherever the other sources of light are coming from.
Yeah, they move in front of the source of light, or just you get lucky and like one of them like tilts their hooded lantern out to you, way too far for the light to actually like spot you, but enough that you see a little tiny light and you're like, oh, lantern. So
neat. It
seems like there is some number of them, and based on the size of the fires, a significant chunk of them hold up in the fort. You don't see any other signs of like fire or movement or light anywhere else in the like Noble district. Probably about a little before dark actually rolls in, Konrad can actually kind of like spot signs of movement of like guys shuffling back and forth, like a couple of guys, come off the deck, go down the gangplank on the Foxhound, go into town, go into the fort. A couple more guys come back down from the fort, shuffle back through, go on the dock, go up, So shift change,
watches.
Probably?
Yeah.
Changing watches. The thing that's interesting is you don't spot open fires, but you do see a couple of cases where there's definitely some unusual sources of light down by those warehouses. Like you catch the glinting of like lantern light out on the water or like bouncing off the fog, or see kind of like movement silhouetted against the water's surface. When there is still daylight, you might see, like you're studying closely, through a spyglass, you might see signs that like I can't remember if this was on air or not, but I think Lucky posed a question of like, oh, if there are people here, why are there goats on the hills? Where do they have their own goats? There's definitely signs in those warehouses that you think maybe one of them is being used as like an animal pen or something. There's like an outside space to like store like straw and feed and maybe like, throw out old straw. So it could be that the pirates have, gathered up a couple of the wild goats and dumped them in a warehouse, but I don't, without making you roll tactics, Konrad, you're not sure why you would need extra guys to night watch the animal pen.
Well,
Actually,
I could
I
definitely
do.
think of some reason.
Well, that's like I said. Without rolling tactics, you can't be
Yeah.
sure about what their strategy is. But it's one of those
Telling
things
you
that's
guys.
like purely scrutinize-y. If it's just
I-
goats in a pen, you don't need
And
guys to
I
stand out
promise-
there all night.
Omega, I promise
Oh.
I'm not just being paranoid.
I imagine.
There's monster meat.
Is there any
I-
lights by the church?
No,
Yeah, I
actually,
imagine
there's no
this
sign of them
is-
moving in and out of the church.
Yeah, I imagine
Yeah,
this is
no.
at the exact point where Conrad's
Not
like,
that church.
"Oh, I need to get back."
All right, so
And-
Konrad, picks up his stuff and shuffles back in.
The anti-devil incense is doing its job. I feel.
We don't know that, but
I mean,
So
I will
Kon-
say this. This is the thing. Devil Repelling Incense, very good spell, very effective, especially because it's based off of Inos' sorcery pool when he rolls it. So technically he has a master die in it. Unlike, say, like Warding Candle or something, Inos doesn't know if things are being gobbled by it or not.
no.
Fair.
It's not an alarm spell. It's a
No.
protection spell.
Fair.
So, like,
Yeah.
you don't get like a sign that it's working. You
Maybe
just know
maybe
Inos doesn't
maybe
do
I
half
should
successfully.
maybe I should light a warding candle.
So Conrad
You
comes
got a
back.
candle on you? Yeah, Konrad, you shuffle back.
I go over to like the little map that Leslok has made. All right. Well, there's definitely a lot of guys up at the castle cathedral citadel. The rest of them are situated on the boats. They do looks like they do shift changes occasionally. I don't know for sure, but they might have livestock by the boats that they're protecting.
Oh, huh. That could mean a few things, but
That could mean a few things.
most of those aren't good.
So
No,
yeah,
none
we
of
need
them are
to
good.
keep good watch.
This seems like a lot of bother.
Need to buy a shirt
Well-
for Logesh.
Yeah, but it's
too.
fun.
Well, Ike says that she kind of clasps you on the arm there, Logesh. By the way, she gave you back your chainmail patched earlier. Says,
Yeah.
well, if you want to go home, you can always hike back to the Shadow Pass. Fortunately, we closed the door behind us, so you need either Aurelia or Inos or maybe Alestra. Somebody.
Also,
Don't worry, I
there
wasn't
might be
actually
more-
planning on leaving you guys here.
That's good.
But no, we need to take watches.
Mhm.
Oh, and I think to signal Inos, Ike, since she said that, just like unshoulders her warhammer and just kind of like donk, like on the farmhouse floor,
Mhm.
which Inos underground in the cellar you can hear.
Yep. Well, Inos has redressed, and he has comes up looking a lot scragglier and worn than he did before. His clothes are dirty. They look a little damp in places. His hair is mussed. There's dirt on his face. Boots are scuffed and looked pretty messed up.
Pardon my
Good man.
reading. Are you still beautiful?
Yeah, you can't hide.
Yes.
I can't hide that.
Yeah.
There are beautiful poor
The
people.
beauty itself
Axe.
is not.
Beauty is not a class description.
Well, he may be asking. The beauty itself is not enough to trigger losing the benefit of Shroud the Soul.
No,
Because
Inos
you are
is
not notable.
Inos is not going to look like, he's not going to go strolling into a pirate camp looking like a well-off, well-dressed, courtier.
He is
Yeah,
a
I think
sexy
that Laura just
urchin.
kind of like, sits up where she's going. She goes, cool, that's a good disguise.
That's like,
It's like a regular piece of riffraff.
You want to keep pointing?
Inos comes up. Oh, yeah, that's right. Regular old riff-raff. Oh, I don't think I'm going to get used to that voice anytime soon.
It's almost disturbing hearing that come from you.
But
Well-
Cone's come back with some, Aurelia points at the map.
Oh, well, that's good. Let me take a look here.
The beam of your eyes is probably all over the
It's
map.
either that or I just go, ding! Okay, your codex is updated.
Hang on. There's a GIF I need.
I can almost see a joke if you were a video game. All the maps were or all the ones that like Leslok drew. All the player maps of that. Yeah, exactly that.
Damn, great minds. Yeah, no, it's like that. You do that.
As soon as the words left Lucky's mouth, I picked.
But yeah, what's not marked on the map is it seems like the pirates are keeping livestock down there in the town, guarded.
Livestock.
Oh, that might be something else.
Who
out
would like
here.
to roll tactics?
Me.
Someone
I would
with
also welcome
tactics.
anyone. I would also welcome anyone else to roll tactics as well.
I'd roll Monstrum, but
Sure,
that's not, it
why
doesn't
not?
narrow it down, so I can't do anything there.
Yeah, you could roll Monstrum. The problem was you get a long list.
My master die will be 10.
Damn.
Jesus, 3/10. Okay, Logesh, you're looking at a map. You're pretty good at small unit tactics. It's kind of your thing. Based on the information you currently have, these pirates are fucking stupid. They have, ostensibly, if Konrad was correct in estimating the crew size of that boat, and like Nicola knows a little bit more about sailing because of his special interests, but he didn't, gainsay it. So that ship has a crew of between 150 and 200 guys. At least 50 of which, or maybe 100 of which, need to be swarthy enough to fucking row. That means the ideal thing to do would be to post as many of your guys are comfortably willing to sit on your boat as possible, and put the rest of them inside that fort, because the fort is up on a hill. It's got walls. It's got like the watchtowers are partially intact, like the keep walls.
It was built there
So
for a reason.
the part where Konrad spotted them, they're doing the correct thing. They've got guys probably in like, dark sailcloth coats, probably with like pitch smeared under their eyes so you can't fucking see them, with hooded lanterns, right? But even if there's like a couple of guys, to keep this in mind, the warehouses are on the other side of town. They're in the like working class half of town.
Oh, so they couldn't use it to like leave immediately. Okay.
No, those guys would have to hoof it across town, run along the shoreline and jump in the boat, or jump in the water and swim. Which, by the way, coin flip odds, if these pirates know how to swim, a shocking amount of people got on boats without knowing how to swim. So,
That was, yeah.
some of them can't even do that. So that means that if like a situation came where they have to pull anchor and haul ass out of here, even if those guys are just like a dozen guys on patrol, they would have to haul ass or get left behind. Nobody would want to be left behind in this godforsaken place. So that means that there is something important to them in those warehouses. Goats are nice. But
Oh, sorry.
would you score a dozen guys to watch a dozen goats? There's at least a couple dozen goats up in those hills. Just go bag another round of goats.
Oh.
Oh, there's something more there.
Oh no.
Also,
Oh, boy.
again, Konrad's not really counting heads, but Logesh, you've rolled 10s on a tactics check. If you're counting heads, you reckon probably like 40 guys on the boat at any given time. watches of 20 to 40 men. Maybe in the dead of night, it's like a 20-man shift, right? But 10 guys on the windlass. That means that, if you're assuming minimum, that's still like 100 guys unaccounted for. There was a big fire, Konrad reports. It was maybe like a 50-man fire. Like, you think they may have as much as a third of their force split up in this other location. That would make sense. If they're being smart, that would make sense. A third of your guys to hold down these warehouses, they're made of stone. They got clay shingle roofs. There are some granaries in there, which are, tall buildings that are standing up. That could hold if somebody tried to, I don't know, divide and conquer you.
This, of course, if without saying it, Logesh will, of course, be relaying this information to
Enos's brow is like heavily furrowed as he thinks about the map.
Yeah, because
on the one hand, strategically, like I said, there's about a dozen of you. Some of you are very lethal. You can take 20 to 40 guys.
I could take them.
There's something else at play here.
Yeah.
But basically, I ask you, the players, this question. You're Bloody Brad. You're captain of again, you don't know an exact head count, but you're captain of between 150 and 200 men, assuming that you are fully staffed. Konrad did kill a dozen pirates, so you can shave a little bit there, assuming he hasn't had a chance to go recruiting. But again, you're in the command of 150 to 200 men. And again, there's a small crew on that boat, the Windlass. Why would you split your force evenly between 3 locations?
You have stuff you need to keep.
Or what if they're not protecting the livestock? It's not livestock it's human cargo. So they need to keep it from leaving.
Well, I'm not saying that it might not be some humans down in there, but I'm also saying it could just be their goods. Notes. Both the Foxhound's riding high. That means it's not carrying any cargo. Where's their loot?
True.
Well, admittedly, last you checked, they didn't get any loot off of you, but it has been about a month since that engagement. But that implies other things. Has the captain not been sortying in that time?
No.
That's not likely because they need to make money.
Something is fishy and I can't figure it out.
Just a world fact so everybody know. You guys would know this as common knowledge. The way pirate crews work, you get shares.
Yeah.
Officers, like the captain and other important members of the crew, get more shares, but individual sailors get shares of the take they get. It's, part of the romance of it all. That means if you are not pirating, you are not getting paid.
It's immunities.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to go take a peek inside that warehouse.
Yeah, this all seems mightily suspicious.
Yeah. My gut feeling is it's their loot, or it's a monstrum, or something worse.
I bloody well hope they'll try to smuggle out money.
God, what would be No, smuggling monstrum would be worse. Slavery and human trafficking is illegal by the king's law. Smuggling monstrum, I think, is heretical.
Yeah.
So that would be worse. Both are very bad.
Yeah,
what if they're smuggling?
Okay, so
No, I'm not even gonna. This is not time for weird theories.
Again, 310s on tactics, Logesh. You personally wouldn't if you were trying to fend off monstrum, you wouldn't want to stick guys 24/7 to watch your goats so they didn't get snatched by something. But I mean, you guys traveled through the Bident, where in the winter they have, problem with sea devils. The sea devils don't usually crawl right up onto the docks. But if they do, there have to be guys with harpoons there. So that could be it. But that would be suboptimal. Like Inos brought up, they're storing their loot. If they're storing their loot in the warehouses and not in the citadel, That would mean they'd have to have a lot of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means they
I
might
don't
have a
think they've
lot
been-
of money.
There hasn't been
Yeah.
that many rumors about. Phil, there hasn't.
I have another thing to say.
Since
And
Leslok acts really quick, I will clarify. Because Lucy mentioned Bloody Brad to you, and you've probably done a little bit of research on him. He was known for doing coastal raids mostly on the crag side, and sometimes in
okay.
North Forester.
More ships.
That's
to
why
pillage
it was
there.
unusual he was chasing you like as far south as time.
Yeah, there's more ships there.
feel free to reject this or whatever, but even more so now, if they're putting something under guard 24/7, the positioning of the guns on the ship is odd to me.
Honestly, who knows? Maybe. Honestly, it also might have something to do with them windless. Again, this is one of those things we can debate theories all we want, but we're not gonna figure out what they're magically doing until someone gets eyes inside that warehouse.
Yeah.
Maybe
Clearly
Maybe we change to the
If you
raid. to
guys
actually
have
figure that
any
out.
roles you would want to do, skills, magic bullshit, you
Did I get any?
Otherwise,
Trying. Wait, I can
Did I get anything off of 5 or 3 or 4 5s for tactics?
Let me check my spells, but I
oh,
don't think
you're
I
on
got-
tactics, yeah, 4 5s.
Yeah, I rolled.
Your tactical knowledge is not as in depth as Logesh, but
No.
you know a little bit about sailing. I think you would concur with Logesh's conclusion. What Inos said earlier is correct. Sailors, especially pirates, who are career criminals, usually, are not going to be cooped in their boat. But assuming you're Bloody Brad, who was gutsy enough to take a swing at the head of a high house, you are probably not an idiot.
Probably not a manager, man.
Yes, he has probably got a mind for tactics
Definitely.
to understand what a good matchup would be. That means there's something to him splitting his crew, because, like, Everhelm brought it up before. Obviously, Bloody Brad is probably not expecting you 12 or 13 guys to come crawling out of the hills to haunt him again. That's just what the GM calls dramatic irony.
It's just funny.
But if there are people in these hills, you've just suggested they are taking human cargo from somewhere. If there's people out here, your advantage as a pirate captain is you have a shitload of guns and you have a shitload of bodies. Swarthy sailors who can row oars and haul cannonballs can just, be a pretty good force. You would want to put them in a position where you could use that force to overwhelm your enemy. He is not doing that. He is playing defensively, but in such a way that indicates he has things to defend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Although also I should say both of you rolling tactics and Nicola's knowledge. From what you know about pirates, the Foxhound has a lot of guns. That requires a lot of powder to fuel, which means he's got to be smuggling or stealing demon fire or acquiring fire sand somehow. You would guess that probably means he does not have a lot of firearms on his crew. For ranged attacks, his men are probably, throwing harpoons or shooting crossbows, because the powder store is going to be reserved for his much more powerful implements, the cannon and the mortars.
Omega, do you think, I don't know if this would be in role to ask, but would it be possible to take the warehouse without causing a giant alarm, you think? From the estimates.
Based on the tactics rolls your friends have done, and your own knowledge of espionage without rolling, you could probably do it. You would need to know how many guys there are, but I've just suggested to Nicola that they probably don't have a lot of firearms, which this is another advantage of pistols. They're very loud.
Yeah.
This is open water and like a fjord with cliff sides. A pistol shot would fucking carry. But they probably don't have pistols. It looks like, based on what Konrad saw, their only way of signaling is shouting or lanterns. If you did it quietly enough, you guys could probably take on 20 or 40 guys. You would need to do a lot of crowd control, though.
Crowd control, you say?
they are physically isolated
Non-loud crowd.
from their fellows. Well, crowd control in a different way. Throwing flashbangs or firebombs would also carry a long way.
No, that's not what I was thinking.
But because I think we have to amend our night raid plan.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We might do
Like, I think Inos will
a lot.
still go in and try to scout to see if he can see what's going on in there. But I think on the night of the raid, we need to hit the warehouse before hitting up the Foxhound and the Windlass.
Fuck, I don't have scrambling mirror, and I don't know if that's. I feel like that's a bit too much, but.
Don't you just need like a bowl of
I mean,
water?
the problem with mirror is you'd need
No,
to
I haven't bought.
ask
scrying.
it something.
Oh.
That's okay. If this is what makes Leslok realize that scrying is cool.
It's on my list.
All right, but no. So Inos will try and see if he can get in, find some good routes for us to get locations, and because that's what he's gonna find for entrances, routes to the warehouse and the docks, which will probably not be seen by whomever. And he does kind of want to investigate that church right there, just to see if anyone's hiding out in there.
But ask for the deployments inside each building, but that might be a bit much.
Well, unfortunately, Inos doesn't have an eidetic memory, and he can't predict who will be in and out also. So he's probably just going to go for where most people are most likely not going to be, so we can, sneak people who are not good at sneaking necessarily.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Veil of Shadow might be actually useful here.
Probably.
If you can move in a tight enough unit, if Enos can find you a space where you're not gonna be within 50-foot radius?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just don't accidentally put any pirates inside the bubble.
I wish I could manipulate the size of the bubble, honestly.
Well, that's why you can't, because that would make it really good. I have to come up with some limits.
Fair, it has to have a limitation.
I think actually this is in Reign somewhere, but I've seen some other notes. Invisibility is a really powerful common ability that players have, so
Fair.
you got to play with it to keep it interesting.
That's fair, because it's this is less invisibility and more just like a zoning. It's more just like an isolation zone.
That's invisibility.
It literally makes it so that you gobble sense plus sight dice. So yeah, you are unseen.
You've been struck by. You've been hit by.
Smooth criminal.
I think Veil of Shadow might also do hearing.
Let's see here. It's
I can't do invisibility. I can just do. I change what I look like.
Yes, it is. It's Gobbledize against Sentinel Sight and Hearing.
Okay. This will not help you if any of these pirates have Eerie, but you don't think they do.
I
have a bad feeling.
Pirates are superstitious as fuck.
I think I know how they're getting the fire sand.
Listen, I would think that a superstitious person would probably know counterspell more than Eerie, because Eerie is more of an innate thing sometimes.
Well, no, because hear me out, because we've already found a couple of people like this working when we were in the capital. What is the best way for an illegal group of ruffians to frequently acquire fire sand?
If they have a pocket alchemist.
Yeah, pirate alchemist. Remember when we met the thief alchemist?
Actually, yeah. You said thinking if I can use espionage. Enos, do roll me espionage.
I'm gonna roll that espionage, baby. Give me the good shit.
I had pocket alchemist.
I did.
That's what I said. Alchemist in your pocket.
Give me the good shit.
No.
Reroll that.
Does that work that way?
Can you do lucky for other people?
I'm pretty sure.
If you can, that's stupid.
Let's first ask you. You can reroll a pool where no match is turned up. It doesn't say you. It says you can reroll.
But it says you. If it says you can reroll.
Yeah, if it says you may reroll,
I think you have to reroll.
No, that is you. You.
There are ways and spells that you can give other people lucky and stuff like that. But no, I don't think you can make him reroll for free.
No. Oh wait, hang on. Let me add that. I
was about to ask. Yeah, I was gonna say, did you make sure to do any relevant passions?
No, I did not. Because this plan is what's gonna keep everybody safe. So hang on. All right, makes it
Nice.
9s.
Nice.
Yay!
Yay.
Enos, your espionage thoughts are less about the pirates themselves and more about a pressing question for you as an espionageman,
Espionage-man.
as Johnny Sneakman.
Live this.
These pirates acquired information about your routes and location.
This is true, yes.
This guy tried to chase down your boat, which is very fast and modern, when it launched. And he did so from presumably far enough away that Lucy's own house did not be like, hey, there's a weird guy lurking in our shipping lanes kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have presumed that means that he has to have either inside information or magic.
Magic.
You're thinking, why the fuck is this guy here?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this guy here? That's a genuine question. Why is he here?
No,
There's no resources for him to plunder. He's a coastal raider. There's no people in this town. There's no goods to steal. There are goats for them to bail up, and that would be an opportunity target. But in that case, why did they not just
Take him and leave.
bag up the goats and cut the line?
Are they having a meeting with the Windlass crew?
Could be. The Windlass is
I
pretty
was
small and
joking
fast.
about the Pirate Brotherhood thing, but
Presumably, they are being passed information from somebody who wishes to do the Marquess harm.
if you're organizing
this location is, I mean, so you rolled espionage. If you could sail a boat in here, this is a pretty good spot for a clandestine location. You can bunker down for a few days. Monstrum don't usually besiege walls,
Mm-hmm.
so your citadel is defensible. And worst comes to worst, you just raise the anchor and pull away. So you would wait it out. They could be meeting with the crew of the Windlass, but then that would be a question of well, how long have they been here? Why haven't they left already? How long is this meeting? And I want to say with 9s, your concern, I think, would be, Enos, is what if they're not meeting with the Windlass? What if they're waiting for some other sign, be that another meeting or just waiting for a new set of orders, right?
What if there's going to be a big meeting of lots of pirates?
I will say you couldn't fit lots of pirates. Like I said, they only have 4 or 5-ish big docks that are repaired.
But if they're just waiting for maybe someone with orders or a sign, they wouldn't need
the bigger fish.
Yeah, they just need, a small vessel with a very important dude to show up.
Yeah, just a message or something.
And that's probably why they're holding up. Because they are just sitting around waiting for something, and that something can happen probably any time. Great.
Oh, well, knowing our luck, it'll be tomorrow.
Now, tactically, like I said, Enos, pirates. You've spent a lot of time glad-handing criminals and scumbags. This is your go-to strat, is to find local criminals, hand them a fistful of coin, and be like, tell me your secrets, ruffian. There is no fucking way those pirates are happy right now. They are in the spookiest place I think any of your characters have ever been. Genuinely, I think you guys are the most spooked you've ever been.
You are giving Nicola an anxiety disorder.
Can I dress up like a fucking specter and just go out there and start casting wiggity-woogity on them and see if they all run?
Just cast Terrify at them.
Honestly, you probably could. You just said it. Pirates are suspicious. I don't know if that will help your current plans, because their retreat would probably be the boat.
Yeah.
Genuinely, seriously. If we wanted to scare them off, I can cast Greater Glamour to be anything I want. What if I made it a fucking dragon?
That seems a little fantastical.
I think you should do more like a sea ghost, but yeah.
But no, I'm sorry. I don't want that to actually be part of the plan, but if I have to get my spook on, I fucking will.
No, like I said, Enos, with espionage, gathering intel, putting together facts, thinking about the enemy critically here. There's no way these guys are fucking happy. These guys are in the creepiest place on Earth. They are split up. Some of them get to sleep in a nice fort at night. Some of them have to spend their time standing next to the ocean or on the boat. They're not getting paid, probably, because there's no gold to pay them. If they have pay already, where are they keeping the cash, right? Where are they keeping the ship's till? And also, there's nothing to do with it. There's nothing to spend money. There's no infrastructure.
Spend
here.
it.
The place sucks. So, like, you are understanding that, like I said, I want to basically, I'm pitching this to you guys.
Oh, this is a social powder keg.
I said before, like, between like Everhelm and Konrad, there's 12 of you, 13 of you or so. You guys can't take on 150 to 200 guys.
No, but if 200 guys fight themselves.
You don't know if you could cause an outright mutiny either. You'd have to do a little bit of pre setup for that, right? Like fight. But like I said, the main thing is that you would not have to fight 150 guys because these guys are in a situation where they're fractured. They're probably a little frangible. They're a little on edge. That means they're going to be jumpy. You're going to have to be careful. Like, these guys are going to, cutlass first, ask questions later a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. But
also,
if a fight breaks out, they might not go running to their compatriots' help.
They might also just, fuck off somewhere else.
So...
Actually, yeah, I want to amend what I said about the warehouse thing. You could do it quietly. It'll be tough. You know what else you could do? You could do it really noisy. You could do it messy. You could do it the Wargman style. And, you're not 100% sure if these guys heard, blood-curdling screams from the warehouse district in the middle of the night and, their friends being cleaved in twain and stuff. You don't think these guys are going to get out of their beds for that. They're not going to want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. That sounds terrible.
It's spooky here. Getting out of my bunk.
Okay, so...
I mean, genuinely, I didn't think of it that way, but since you asked that question, yes, you could pull this off in such a way that not necessarily it was quiet, but maybe in such a way that they didn't want to investigate for a while.
Make it a morale attack for everyone else that isn't there.
All right.
We'll check it out in the morning.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess the crux of that question would be
we'll clean the
that's really
corpses
going to depend
later.
on Bloody Brad himself. You guys don't know a lot about his leadership style. You don't know about his capabilities. If he's a really good captain, he could probably get some boys to turn it around. He is a pirate, so he's probably mostly just intimidating. That just means you guys have to be scarier than him.
I can probably be scarier than him.
You can magically be scarier than him by most degrees.
No, that's for damn sure. But yeah, that is the breadth, I think, of your information based on some rules you've made.
So, with that, I don't want us to discuss this anymore, plots and stuff. I'm going to lay out our plan. Tomorrow, Inos is going to try and do some scouting. If he feels like he can do it, he'll try to get eyes on the warehouse and see what's in there. And if he's feeling particularly brave or things are going really well, maybe he'll see if he can swing up to the castle and get some information there. Maybe. That is a tertiary objective. If he's not feeling it, Inos ain't going up to the castle.
Understand. Play your risks accordingly.
Yes. That night, we should, hopefully Inos will find some routes or was able to disable some guards to get everyone in, and we go hit the warehouse. I say we try to do it silently, but if we go loud, guess what? If everyone's dead, it's still stealth.
If there's no witnesses, yes.
The Metal Gear Classic.
Also,
the alert
in my back,
ends when all the guards are dead.
In my back pocket.
Still want me to do my scouting to determine the best routes through the ruined city?
Honestly, I want to say no, because I'm a little concerned that these guys are waiting, and I feel like this is we talk about a powder keg on the boats. I feel like this whole town's a powder keg.
I still think they're zombies.
Yeah.
So the idea is to terrify the warehouse guys when we go after them, right?
Yeah. Well, the idea is to try to do it silently, and when that eventually fails, then yes, we get very scary with it.
That's when you pull big sword, cut someone in half.
Because, like I said,
since I'm not scouting, I'll make everyone masks.
Question.
Yeah.
Question. Inos, do you have Argent Light with you?
I do not.
could have used like the sword beam to damage some things in the distance to really set them off.
That's like Inos pats his chain. It's like let's go ahead and cut. Can that's a bit of range and probably better cutting edge.
Now, here's a question. Genuinely, do we want to? Are we wanting them to escape, or do we want them to not escape?
For the warehouse and for the warehouse, we do not want them to escape. We do not want them running to. We do not want them running.
Do we want them to taking off in the
boats?
Dallas has not been listening to the plan. We are destroying one boat. We're destroying one boat and stealing the other one. Where are they going to escape to?
Okay, so we're doing that first before we attack the warehouse.
No, we are going to commit a massacre at the warehouse. There is going to be no survivors.
Like, that must be reinforced.
Yeah. Like I said, the plan there is to take out as many as stealthily as possible. And when that inevitably fails, as it do, make a little bit of a ruckus, get a scream out there. Just if we can get just like one blood-curdling scream into the air, that'll be perfect. Too many, they get suspicious. Just one, they're like, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I just say this. So during Victorian England, during Jack the Ripper times, some reason those crimes were never figured out is because people doing blood-curdling screams in the middle of the night was kind of normal, actually.
Then perfect. They will just be like, nope, not getting out of me bunk. But we'll figure out what's going on we'll find out what's going out in the warehouse. If we're super fortunate, Inos will find out what's going on with the crews. If not, well, like I said, again, I'm not going to overly risk it. Inos doesn't have run. So
I have like very little.
Should have gotten some shoes.
Yeah, should have gotten some shoes.
I would have liked.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask.
Sorry, I was just checking my run.
Aurelia's main complaint is not that she can't afford it, because I think she's like, 2 or 3. But to cast 7 league boots, you need fine quality boots.
Actually, how long does it take to cast 7 leagues boots?
It's about 7 hours, I think.
Okay, never mind. We're about to crash, and Enos is gonna head out in the morning.
It's a full day thing, yeah.
I have never wanted more a fucking Veiler Mass Illusion spell. Maybe that's a Soulcraft. It's like
I literally have it. I literally have a Mass Illusion.
Mass Delusion.
Oh, Delusion.
Yeah,
okay.
like in their minds. That might be.
I don't know, but like I said, that's the plan. Does anyone have any problems with said plan?
Nope.
All right, then everyone go to bed so we can move to the next day.
All right, then. I guess
before you go to sleep, because you've been talking amongst yourself, I would like everybody to make me sense plus hearing rolls.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, listen. Listen, hearing, whatever the fuck it is.
It is sense plus hearing.
Damn it.
Oh, listen.
Yeah!
So I'm guessing that Ignis will help me on this check.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, I got 5. Okay.
I just bungled it. Yeah.
Yeah. Leslok misses.
That's happening a lot. That's goofy.
I mean, I lowered my hearing pool, so like,
I have 3.
How it goes.
3s.
Only 6 dice.
Okay. Basically, as you guys wrap up your conversation, and Inos is like, "All right, time to go to bed." You hear not really a thump, but there's a sound like a large weight has been dropped off in the soft grass outside the farmhouse.
A large weight?
Yeah, like, I don't want to say it's exactly like something medium-sized falling over, but it's kind of like that.
Oh, can I take a peek? Can I take a peek around a wall?
Yeah, you can lean around the door jamb.
I'll lean around the door jamb.
I mean, Konrad's gonna look.
Somebody's left a dead reindeer on your front porch.
How is it dead?
Arrow through the neck.
Oh.
Wait.
Ha! The lady in white.
No.
That's my first thought.
Do you say that out loud?
Oh,
Don't say that
No.
out loud, please.
I don't say it out loud.
Inos is gonna creep forward and pull the arrow from the neck.
Yeah, it's got a bronze head.
Konrad is moving forward as Overwatch for Inos.
Check the fletching.
What was that about the fletching?
Check the fletching. Like, is there anything like what kind of fletching does it use?
Looks like normal bird feather. I don't remember exactly what the standard would be.
Okay.
It's a little odd, you guys haven't seen any birds that are fletchable around here.
Yeah. Also, we haven't seen any reindeer.
Mhm.
So
Yes, Konrad thought that there might be some in this area, but you didn't see any of them.
we go check for tracks.
You can roll scrutinize. Don't forget your difficulty 3 because it's after dark.
So this was in the neck of the reindeer?
God
Yes.
damn it. I wish Sense the Soul didn't take me
okay.
like 5 minutes to cast. Fuck.
I was gonna do something.
gonna
I was gonna do something except for Wicked, but that takes 5 minutes too.
I'm gonna
so
check the reindeer.
I'm scrutinizing.
Yeah, it's 2 10s.
Sorry, what were you rolling, X?
I was scrutinizing, being like, what's around here happening right now? But it's like, it doesn't matter.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, you both got this for the tracks. Sorry, Nicola, you're looking at the reindeer. What do you want to ask about the reindeer?
Like, is this normal? Is it fucked up?
Reindeer?
Is this even real?
Yeah, no, the reindeer's real, very real.
How long ago was
roll
this
healing.
dead? Yeah, that's what I
Roll
was
healing.
gonna.
Konrad, Leslok,
Mhm.
you look by what dim background light there is. I don't know if you guys, took any lanterns with you as you're peering out in the middle of the night, but you see what I think for Konrad would be a very familiar set of bare human footprints of somebody about 6 feet tall, retreating from the farmhouse. 4 6s. Not fresh warm, but still pretty warm. You'd say probably the past couple of hours.
From a reindeer that none of us were able to see. I hate this place.
Yeah, you guys didn't hoof your way, far enough.
But sorry, I know I didn't see this, but you say you 6 foot barefoot?
Bare feet.
Yes, unshod human feet, or humanoid feet, I should say. And I said Konrad thought it was familiar because recently he has also observed the tracks of a person roughly human-shaped, about 6 feet tall, tramping through the woods.
Yeah. I was
That's why I asked
right.
Logesh if he wanted to say it out loud. You could have saved yourself a little bit of rolling.
I think we had another person coming with us.
Lady in white.
Oh.
Are you saying that out loud?
Our recent acquaintance from...
No, I'm not singing a 1960s jazz song right now.
That was the whole name.
Inos takes a minute to think about this and goes, "Oh, well,
Our most recent guest at Fairfield Manor.
She is a friend of the family now.
well." Inos will, call out softly into the night. He'll say, "Thank you, Lady in White."
From behind you, inside the building.
Behind us.
You can just fucking.
Yep.
It was no trouble at all.
Inos
Actually,
will.
that's not entirely true, but no trouble for me.
I have a very bad idea, and maybe I should not ask.
Don't do the bad idea.
No, we're not gonna.
No.
Yeah, we're just gonna accept this. And have we had dinner? Ask Lady White. Has she eaten?
I do not require to eat, but no, I have not eaten lately. It was She kind of pauses. Shall we say it was an experience to follow you overland?
I see. Forgive me for my curious nature, Lady White, but may I ask why you decided to follow us overland?
She with one hand. By the way, Lady in White has appeared inside the farmhouse. She looks mostly as she did, long white dress to the floor, veil, pointy ears.
I
the whole
just
thing.
accept this.
Yeah.
Yes. She points with one hand towards Aurelia and says, "My new friend said that her daughter was going somewhere dangerous, and wondered if I might look in." She's under the veil, so it's a little hard to tell, but it sounds like she's got a little bit of a wry smile, and she says, "Since I have a lot of free time, since I am no longer lounging around the back country weeping, I was able to do so."
So Conrad
Wait, guys.
Conrad covers his face a little bit and not quite quietly enough says, "Oh, it's the very godmother thing again."
What?
Enos, like lightly claps his hand. It's like, well, we are glad to see you once again, Lady White. I was not expecting to run into you again so soon. But
Sorry, the birds are
No,
speaking up
but-
over here.
There is something about this place. Kind of
yeah,
looks around.
Okay, are people silent now? Can I speak or?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, remember who had a bunch of rumors and ghost stories about her?
Yeah, I would have the same thought.
Yeah, no, like Enos is thinking this as well, but I do not wish to put too far upon onto our good neighbor here.
It's why
Also-
I typed it and said anything.
That's why you would equivalent exchange
Yeah,
a favor for a favor.
but well, also I'm trying to think of the best way to use her. Do we just send her to terrify the guys at the warehouse? But that makes chaos and whatnot. Do we want
I think
chaos?
she could just. I think she also could just walk around the town, weeping or making noises, and just put everyone on so much edge that they just jump at shadows.
I would not ask her to weep for us.
No,
That's
I know. That's why I second guess that. It's just more of.
But regardless, like even if we don't ask her to terrify, she has probably very good combat potential, so she could probably help us clear out an area much faster.
And her war form is also innately terrifying.
Yeah,
This is
so
also true. She has to mean business to go war form, though. It takes her. She has to do that as an action at the start of combat and decide to go.
No.
Beast mode.
So Inos will put forth as his idea, so everyone doesn't get caught up, that they are potentially going to be doing something very dangerous and stupid, which will probably be putting Aurelia into danger. And if she could assist in some matters, well, Inos would take it as a favor, as Aurelia is also his student, and and he wants to keep her safe as well.
Think nothing of it, Sirrah. As I said, she is traveling somewhere dangerous. I am here to follow.
Listen, if everything
If
goes well,
she-
you'll get to travel on a boat.
Points at, she points in the vague direction of the city. If she happens to wander over there I shall follow. Though if you return this time by the Shadow Pass, I think I would prefer that way. As I said, it was an effort to cross over the mountains itself. I would not recommend it for anyone other than perhaps a giant.
I will take that under advisement, good lady. But I think we are going to retire for the night, as we have many things to do. I, for one, am retreating to the cellar. So I wish everyone good night. And Inos, goes off, no light, and just retreats back into the cellar.
Yeah, you don't. I brought this up for Konrad and Leslok, peering out into the darkness. You don't have that problem. Everything looks not normal, but
it's probably a little bit of color, but mostly like grayscale.
Yeah, I imagine everything's kind of like bluish gray for you, but you can make it out.
Yeah. Inos will smooth out a good patch of dirt, maybe find some nice rocks, lay down, and just be all like, and just muttering to himself, can't always have the plush mattress. And try and get some
anything
sleep.
else you guys want to say before slip? Actually, also I should say, because Konrad and Leslok rolled scrutinize, it didn't matter. But did you guys remember you get +1 for that?
Hallowed.
You're inside the hallowed ground.
Yeah, I would have gotten
You're
another die.
I didn't do that.
It didn't matter because you made the sets, but I remembered it as well. Okay. Who was first watch? Comrade Thorin?
Yeah.
All right. Roll whatever you prefer, sense plus sight or sense plus hearing. Let's check what Thorin has as his best set. Or best pool.
Do you guys get a bonus? Oh, it's Hallowed Grounds. Wouldn't you get like a sight bonus or only Scrutinize?
No, it's only Scrutinize and Eerie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Thorin has 3 in both hearing and sight.
Good on him.
So which did you roll, Konrad?
Hearing.
Okay, I will have Thorin roll sight. That means he's against difficulty 3. He makes it with 3s. All right, first watch, Konrad, you hear nothing. Thorin sees nothing. The land is eerily quiet. The goats have bedded down for the night. Logesh, stayed up a little bit after the end of that conversation to, as he said, to skin and prep the reindeer.
I don't know why I'm giving thumbs up. You guys can't see. What do I keep doing?
I appreciate the gesture.
It happens all the time.
I know.
You guys see nothing. Konrad, is there any sort of role playing you would like to occur during your watch?
Probably just have some light conversation with Thorin. Talk about where he thinks all the animals are, where maybe where he thinks the reindeer came from.
He's got a couple in Student Wilderness. His guess is that because she said she crossed over the mountains, so she probably went way high into the foothills and grabbed it.
Yeah, probably.
We could probably eat good if we went far afield, but raises eyebrows.
Pretty far afield.
Well, Thorin, I've mentioned it before when I remember, he does have the rabbity advantage, so he gets 20 feet of free movement around.
Yeah,
He's fast. But yeah. All right. Your watch ends. You go slip.
Slip.
Nicola and Mattis Gladwin. Nicola, what skill would you like to roll?
What are options?
Hearing or seeing?
Hearing, please.
This is funny because Matthias also needs to roll hearing because that is his best pool for that.
What's his? Do we have to roll different one? Oh, it doesn't matter.
No. You don't have to roll different ones. You can roll whatever you like.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter because
I just had Thorin roll hearing opposite sight because rolled sight opposite hearing because it made sense.
Okay, so we're both hearing Chads. Got it.
So, yes, Matthias, Nicola, you sit up, you hear nothing.
We contemplate the world.
Wind blows, over the hills. A because I did note that there are insects. There's, a scant few cricket noises in the evening. Perhaps if it's very, very still, you can hear the distant crashing of waves, but maybe that's just all in your mind, Nicola. He yearns for the sea. Anyway, do you have any role-playing you want to do during...
Not particularly.
All right.
Probably just going over like brief plans with Matthias, like.
Yep.
Because we're probably going to both be on the wind crew.
You definitely, wherever you'd like guys to get thrown overboard, that's probably where you should put Mattis.
Yeah.
I can picture it now. Sploosh.
Yes.
Coin flip if they notice.
We're tossing off all the sailors.
All right. Second watch ends. Third watch. Logesh. Everhelm. Logesh, what would you like to roll?
So Everhelm that everyone knows.
For keeping watch in this situation with the darkness, I think Logesh would go with hearing.
Fair enough. There's no difficulty. But Everhelm is also better at, very slightly better at hearing than seeing.
2 2s.
All right, you hear. Everyone also hears. All right. You guys sit up and listen. You hear the wind. You might hear a very faint drizzle that bounces off your sailcloth. Because you're very late in the night. And a little bit Logesh, because you're third watch, for 2 hours, so you're probably about the midnight to 2 a.m. block. Or 1 to 3, depending on when exactly you guys went to bed. Mm-hmm. Anyway, the witching hour. Very faintly in the middle of the night, you hear something distant. A little rhythmic, but you're not sure. Kind of like boom, 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 boom. It could be rolling thunder. You don't see lightning, though. Not that you rolled sight, but lightning's usually pretty active. You can't really tell where it's coming from. It kind of sounds like whatever it is might be echoing off the mountains. Could be rolling stones. But
sorry,
there's kind of there's just a little bit of it to say that it's a little rhythmic. But it's not super close, and it doesn't seem to move during the night. It might, because you only rolled 2s, it might be from multiple positions. There might be what you could... Sorry, it's just, I want to be hey, kids, here's the thing called pareidolia. Humans see patterns where there aren't any. So it could be, Logesh, that you hear a call and response. Or you could just be playing tricks on yourself. It could just be random. It could be thunder and then it echoes back. You know.
I look over at Everhelm and the Ents march to war. I look over to Everhelm and ask him his thoughts on this, because this is seeming very concerning. Given all that we've discussed, could this be the signal for them, the pirates?
Everhelm, who, to reassure you out of character, has rolled better than you. He
Yes.
rolled 7s. Kind of tilts his head a little, and then after a little bit of listening, shakes it. No, it's not coming from the bay. You know, echoing off the mountains. Could be nothing. Rocks grinding, thunder rolling. I've heard giants sometimes drum and dance and thump. Don't think there's much to drum and dance and thump for in this country, but that's what it could be.
Well, if you say so. I trust your judgment. Might just be the situation putting me on edge, thinking that there might be more than I thought.
Yeah, could be something. Could be nothing. But it's not the pirates. Also, I'm not an expert like Konrad or Nicola, but kind of, once again listens his ear and he's like, if it is like a signal pattern, it's nothing like I've ever heard. Don't you signal with lamps on boats at night? Wouldn't need to make any sound.
Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my brain around this. So you think it's just the mountain kin, not anything to do with the people we're meant to be keeping an eye out for?
Well, I can't say for sure, but it's not anywhere close. Let the Marquess and Moira know when it's their turn. Keep me here if it gets any closer.
Okay. So, with that out of the way, how are you feeling?
Me?
Yeah.
Don't worry about me, Log. I'm keen.
I thought you would be.
Taps his sword. Got my blade on my back. Got a dozen balls of shot. No, that's what it would be. It's lead balls.
Yeah, no. I heard bottles of shot, so I'm like, he's
No,
got a
That's still applicable.
flask.
12 balls of shot.
Yeah.
Spoiling for a
I-
fight.
I'm also meant in your new position, but I'll take that as the same response.
He smiles very smugly back at you and says, "Oh, that's nothing. Gardener Marquess is the easiest job I've ever had. Can't imagine why you'd leave." He says with an absolute shit-eating grin.
Yeah. He'll just get the smile back and nudge in the sides, like, well, hey, one of us has to take it easy.
This does kind of sober him up a little, and he says, "I suppose it's true. For now, anyway."
For now. But to be fair, if I had to think of anyone to look after the Marquess, I wouldn't pick anyone else.
Of course you wouldn't. Because sometimes you're very foolish, Log. I would have picked Moira. She'd have said no, of
Yeah.
course, but she's got an Aurelia, but,
Yeah, but she's pretty taken already, so jokes aside, though, no. I hope you're not upset about this situation and what I've elected you for.
not at all.
Good.
I know what I'm here for. And come tomorrow night, probably, that's gonna be settling the score with some boys working on a little boat called the Foxhound.
Sorry. Again, this is out of character. I'm smiling because it's like, yeah, no, we'll get them. We'll make them pay for what they've done.
Konrad got to have all the fun last time.
Have a home,
I-
lads.
Kind of clasps you on the shoulder, maybe a little harder than he needs to, and says, "This time we'll get to have some fun of our own."
Sometimes I worry for that man. Sometimes. But yeah, no. We'll unleash hell on those who. I'm going to kill him, I swear. Just. Sorry, I did it in real life.
What?
Did I cut out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut it a little bit.
Oh. I said I glanced over my shoulder in real life. When I said I'll kill him when I heard Aren mumbling.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah, I think that'll be it for the roleplay with Logesh. And
All right.
when it comes to the next people, we'll just tell them what we heard.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just gonna go ahead of my that.
Had a good time, bro.
All right. Leslok and Moira. First of all, as to remind you, Leslok, he has reported to you that Everhelm and Logesh heard rhythmic-y noises in the night. Kind of like
Multiple directions, right?
maybe.
I-
Everhelm kind of agrees with what Logesh said. There might have been like a call and response, but it could have just been like an echo, one source echoing to the next source.
I'd wanted something wicked, but I don't think it'd actually reach it.
Only 500 feet? Yeah, you didn't. This is why by the way, you cast that spell like twice. This is why I did double check how far it was, because
Yeah.
Lady White was following you, but she was not following you 500 feet close, funnily enough. Because
Damn,
when you cast
okay.
it, I think at like the fort, she was still hauling ass over the mountain.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do sight.
Okay. Which sense thing is Moira best at?
And I think about.
Oh shit! It's midnight. Maintenance is up right now, right?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
our Discord didn't even yap about the thing. Is that not even today? Is that tomorrow? When's the stream? I keep tweeting about it.
Let me go double check. Can I get in game?
Okay.
I thought the Caldea broadcast was today, but it might technically be today because it's after midnight for me. I don't remember what day it actually is because, like I said, they keep tweeting it like every couple of days. Moira is... There we go. Since...
I'm in. There's no
Justice
maintenance.
Okay. Okay, so I guess that's... live is upcoming tonight, then. We love maths here.
How do I bring my
Moira's
local-
also, by the way, rolling sight. Because that's what
I've been
she's got.
rolling very low today.
I mean, threes beat it. Or doesn't make a set. On 5 dice. But yeah, you got threes, so that works. And fours, actually. That also works.
Yeah.
You see nothing. Like I said, to watch 3, Logesh and Everhelm, there was a little bit of like a light drizzle, but as you get close to dawn again, the Mostly, you can guess you're getting close to dawn because the air temperature starts to change.
Yeah.
Since it's still overcast.
Actually, I want to do weather. I want to do leather whim.
Sure. Roll
Let
your
me do
weather
this for a
effect.
nice roll.
Yeah, you can roll it separately.
That's straight. Can't tell.
Yes, I think so.
I'm gonna re-roll that.
3, 4, 5, 7.
Yep.
Or 6. Sorry, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Yeah, no matches.
That's straight again.
Yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 4, 6, 5, 6,
5, 6.
9, 8, 10. Or 8, 9, 10. Yeah, no. You lucky rerolled and got another straight on 8 dice. What the fuck?
That's a 50% chance twice. Okay, that's.
Also,
that's
no,
like-
I think the chance is much lower than that on 8 dice.
Yeah.
It's at 8 dice is 85%. No, it's 98%. Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
it's like a 2% chance twice that happens.
You just really were not meant
Well-
to cast that spell.
I'm gonna cast
Not
a
a spell.
spell.
Or
Just-
the
If it was a spell, I'd have a master fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to guess the weather, Leslok, and you're, with your supernatural Veiler sense, your response is just,
That's not happened before.
could rain, could not rain.
That would be great to know right now.
It looks like it will remain overcast, but and as I mentioned to First Watch, as and Konrad, as he was observing nightfall, as dawn gets closer, fog starts to roll in a little from the mountains and hills. Dew gathers on the blades of grass, but you don't see or really hear anything in your time period on watch. Eventually the crickets go to sleep and fuck off.
I asked Moira what mask do you think she'd want to wear if Conrad's making everyone mask.
Kind of just kicks her boot a little on the ground and says, don't really think I need a mask, but probably something simple.
Like a birds would be fun, but I don't know how that would work.
Your lordship. Anyone who sees the likes of me won't be telling anybody about it.
It is what they say by no witnesses.
This the awkward pause is probably literal, and after a little bit, Moira probably kind of like catches Leslok with like an elbow and says, "Don't you worry about it, none.
All right.
I already told you. Didn't you know? This is how your folks met." Now, I'm pretty sure we won't find any cauldron witches up trees in the Fogveil, but it's a little like that.
Still the feeling that will happen one day, like that will come up to us. But
Of course, that boat was smaller. But they were in a shack. Pretty dirty shack. Keep your eyes and ears open. I don't know if you've caught on yet, but, she kind of peers out into the dark up at the mountains. I don't care what Nicola or Konrad say about how many goats there are. We're not bloody alone out here.
something here that knows how to be out of sight.
I got a simple one for you. She points at the spot where the like rock walls or fences of the farmhouse are. Some of the stones are missing, and they're not just tumbled down the hill. It's because someone walked by here and said, "Oh, this is a nice stone. Let me go put it somewhere else where I live." So they're not living here, but someone's living somewhere. Monstrum don't need rocks. At least, last I checked anyway.
Leslok has to think about the Cyclops being like, would it want rocks? No, it would probably just find someone else's place to live in.
The Cyclops set like simple snares that might use like a rockfall like trap. Like you could imagine that creature like propping up a big rock to like crush your bones or something. Maybe
Yeah, but it
do an
wouldn't take
Indiana
like
Jones
building
style
stones.
run. But no, yeah, that would not be as. I mean, you could roll Student Monstrum if you want, but I can tell you even without rolling it, I don't think Leslok knows of any monstrum that build like structures.
I would more think of Fae or just other. Yeah.
Yeah, fairies also don't pick
They're
random
just, like,
rocks to build new
they'd probably
walls
just
or houses.
Bend trees to do stuff. I said that very important. I said that very like roughly, but yeah.
Moira kind of, again nods in the darkness and pokes her chin up, which you can barely see in the pre-dawn overcast light up at the foggy mountains, and says, I'm not an expert, but I'm of a personal opinion that the reason why there's fewer goats in herds is probably something eats goats. It's probably not wolves. Because then the goats would probably be, more worried. But if you're a couple of roving hunters, roving shepherds, slingstone, dot, goats could eat 'em. Maybe you get lucky, get a reindeer. And I bet a reason why we don't see them is because they probably don't stay still very long. Moira kind of pauses and rests her hand a little tentatively against kind of the I imagine like the window frame that she's sitting on or something, because you guys probably take watch like outside against the wall for a little bit. She says, I camped out in Lagartia for a little bit when I was in some trouble. That place isn't nearly as haunted as this, but there are some nasty things out there. In the jungle, you don't sit still. And if you do, the lizardmen build up in the trees.
Mhm.
Now, she kind of like I imagine, like I said, she kind of like gets up, stands, looks, and kind of points back towards the city. Now, the Crownlanders, who build ports and forts to trade with the lizardmen, they build big walls of timber and stone. It's just a feeling, but I feel like there's people out here who are probably living with the land, and then there's guys like that. She kind of just nods to herself. Just my 2 cents. My 2 pence. My 2 pens. Pen marks.
That makes sense to me. Wish I knew more.
Sometimes, your lordship, we're better off not knowing.
Maybe.
Knowing things means you gotta think about things, and you've already got a lot to think about. Preferably, like not catching a crossbow bolt, or a mortar shell, or a cutlass in the next 24 hours. I'm not your cavalier, but I think your mother would be a little cross with me if that happens.
You're right, she would.
And preferably,
you'll-
Moira says this a little quieter to you. You should also be thinking about how you're gonna make sure none of your friends catch any cutlasses in the next couple of hours as well.
I've been thinking about that. Maybe it's some points, I just have to put faith into them. Hope it turned.
Well, I don't know if it's faith, or if it's just loyalty, or if it's just plain doggedness. But you told them all to come with you into the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And here they are.
Yeah. Means when it happens to them, it's my fault. I'll live with that.
Leslok, I'm gonna tell you something important. This is the first time all night Moira has used your name, by the way. I imagine she kind of like leans to the closer and she says, "You will think it's your fault. You're gonna feel like it's your fault, but it's not your fault. You know whose fault it is? Their fault for being too slow to stop something bad from happening. Or better, it's the fault of some dumbass, donkey-eared idiot pirate who has, for some god's forsaken reason, decided to crawl up the ass end of the world and hang out in a ruined town. I don't know why he's doing it, but he's done it. So it's his bloody fault, all right? All of us constantly make decisions. We make choices. And the result of these choices are no one's fault but our own, and the people around us making their own choices. So, you focus on thinking about the things that you need to worry about and making the best choices for you and the people who follow you. They'll worry about making the best choices for them.
I'm thinking through a lot of things right now, and I don't think any of them are apt for the situation. So,
Leslok just kind of sits there in contemplation. Got it.
yeah.
Moira at least has a couple points of empathy, so I think she can pick up that you're thinking about the stuff she said. She's like, all right, good. Don't think so. How'd you miss breakfast? And then, kind of as the watch ends, I imagine that Moira, steps into camp and kind of like, claps the end of her boot to where Mattias's bedrolling is. It's like, oi, Gledwin, get up. I'm not making my own bread. It's dark and wet out here. It sucks. Meat, bread.
Maybe.
Moira, shakes the edge of Mattias's bedroll a little. Meat, breadman. Bring me meat and bread.
It's evolving even further.
You're gonna have to flip him all the way over to get him up.
I'm away. Reminder that, because it does not come up a lot in NPC blocks, I don't think any of the NPCs have that soldier slumber one. I should give Moira that, though. That's a good one. I don't think any of the player characters bought that one either.
Meat breadman.
Yeah, in the process of Moira arousing Mattias, the rest of you start to awake. It's first light. Sorry, my throat got really dry there. I was trying to add a question mark. So it's first light, question mark?
Ugh. Probably.
Fuck.
And so you guys are treated to some fire bread, just quick bread in the pan.
Yep.
And probably because it's fresh slices of venison bacon.
Thank you, Lady Whites.
Bacon.
I actually had venison bacon. That sounds.
Konrad does his morning calisthenics.
When Inos, thanks her, she just kind of like I don't want to say appears, but she just kind of, comes into frame, nods. Personally, I wouldn't mind a little bit of honey, but there's no beehives for miles. I
Note
think
to
if I
self.
remember the old ways right, there's forest. Oh, maybe 20 leagues? 50 leagues? She
Jeez.
points way back up the road you came. Like, probably 20s maybe, right? Like, probably, like, a full day's walk from that fork.
Note to self, bring Lady White a gift of honey when we get back. But Inos, well, actually, are we ending it soon? I'm assuming we're ending it soon.
Yeah, I think we're at about 3:45. It's almost 1 a.m. I think this is a good spot to wind it in for the day.
Okay.
You're gonna start the day fresh, and well, we will probably speedball some of that time. You guys are gonna gather info and prep, and call it a day ski.
Call it a day ski.
I guess thinking about it, it's like I think the raid is the most heroic, dramatic thing to do. I just don't know if it's like,
It's
Well,
completely
this is
stupid.
why I said you
but,
got to gather info.
Yeah, it's completely stupid no matter which way we do it, but gives us the maximum effect with the minimum risk.
Mm-hmm. Less variables to worry about.
Because the smart thing,
I've implied that they have money somewhere.
yeah. And unfortunately, I want to get paid. So yes, Inos is going to go do some potentially stupid things and go check out a warehouse and see if he can get eyes on the castle. And wherever he finds the money, we're probably going to try and swing by that at some point. Unless it's in the castle. I'm not fighting 200 fucking pirates.
it wouldn't be 200, but at least it'd be like they
I
have.
will say this: I will also not go into the church if the gold is there.
Oh, what was it? It's lucky
Enos is gonna go in the
Enos is
church.
not going to charge out to fight 100. Was it 1,000? I can't remember.
But, like honestly, no, the safest thing to do is just to be like, all right, we have confirmed we're here. Let us go back and grab more dudes, but they might be waiting here for someone, so we need to, stop them. The most effective way to stop them is to basically ruin their ride.
Yep. Shipwreck them.
It's the best / easiest way.
Well, yes, like I said, it's the most effective. What's most effective with minimum risk.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's no risk, but it's minimized.
Scuttling their boat is way easier than fighting 150 guys.
Yes.
Being outmanned like 1 to 12.
No. So, again, I do want to shout that out.
1 to 10?
Good idea, Conrad.
Something
I don't
like
think I would have thought of that originally. I don't think I
Really
would
want to kill Brad though, but
Okay, so guys, one of the things I was thinking about during watch is like I want to stab Vossler in the throat with my plot knife.
I think that's too, but
If
like
you
here's
get
the
a
thing. Unfortunately, I don't
I
think
swear to God,
I don't think Vossler will show up for a convenient one-on-one too. He's gonna be like, good look, I'm behind like 10,000 pirates.
Yeah,
Kinda.
no.
Behind my ship.
I mean,
It's
I should say this.
it's
'cause it's in
okay.
my notes.
If he sticks his head out, it might get
Like,
shot.
Conrad is observing for a while, like looking at the boat. I should say this: as far as you guys can tell, Vossler's on the boat. You don't have a really good idea of what he looks like, but you saw a captain-looking guy on the Foxhound.
Okay.
Oh, was it? Okay, I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry.
No, I mentioned it just now. It's in my notes. He should be on the boat. It's just that one of the things like you guys don't know what he looks like because you did not get a really good look at him. I don't think
think
any
I
of you
saw
owned a
him.
telescope to look back.
I did.
I saw yes, because I did have a telescope, so I saw a brief picture of him, and then I took his anchor.
Yeah, I guess when you share information, if Conrad like at some point described, oh yeah, I saw a guy who kind of looked like a captain on that boat, Nicola might go, well, that looked like the guy who was the captain of the boat last time I checked.
Now, Dallas does not remember what he looks like because that was a year ago. So, fuck if I
You
know.
also don't think I had a description for him besides just
I think you told me his hair color.
But Bloody Bradley is medium height and build, lean, vulpine look, ginger hair, brown eyes.
Yeah, I knew he had red hair.
Into-
That's the thing.
For people who are curious, Vossler is a surname which means fox, so it could just be an alias, but it could be from Norlon or from Trone. Wears a cutlass in his belt, has a brace of at least 2 pistols at all times. This is probably how you could tell he's the captain, because he's actually carrying guns.
Yeah.
I think Blackbird would carry
Shabby
like, 8.
coat, sailor's breeches, shirt sleeves, jaunty hat.
I see.
So, like I said, that's a vague captainical depiction. But all right, XP and stuff. You all showed up. Good.
Yay.
Good roleplay.
Yay.
Good.
Hey.
You
Yeah.
saw
I have a
Leslok
question.
and, or I should say, Axe and Lucky left notes for sure. Good. Yeah, I don't think you guys did anything to come up.
I will say I'm also kind of I actually was into the idea of we all get masks because it's like fuck it. It'd be like we're
I don't
fucking
need
playing
no
Call of
mask.
Duty Ghosts. I mean, yeah, you know.
I literally don't need a mask. I'm unwholesome.
Yeah,
I
I can cast illusions over my face.
If literally no one needs masks, then you better think of something else for Konrad to do. Because otherwise,
No,
he's going to go scouting anyway.
Nicola will take a mask, but he doesn't need it.
I'll take one. I just don't know.
I mean, at the very least, if you're just trying to like conceal yourselves, your other allies could probably use the one. Aurelia would probably bring up that she has a not so secret plan that she wants specifically Nicola to make her a mask out of adamant at some point, or supply adamant to make into a mask,
a stab-proof
so
mask.
she can actually have face armor.
All right.
I'm pretty sure, because we've talked about it, I think this is something that Aurelia and Inos have discussed their plans at length. They're like,
How does she know I can
Inos.
make adamant?
You openly said it earlier today.
Well,
Yes,
but she
actually,
said.
that part.
Okay,
Inos
so
and
she
her have
just
been talking
expressed this
about
now.
masks.
So she just expressed
Yes.
this now. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, she
I
hasn't
don't-
said it before. Her and Enos, I think, have been talking for a couple weeks at this point about we got to do something to protect our faces, man.
Because this is the first time I've
Preserve
said
the drip, but we need face armor.
I just wear a helmet.
My beautiful face.
What
this
about
is
Damascene?
the
Damascene
first
has
time I've
some
said to anyone. The first time I've said to anyone out loud that I can make adamant.
Didn't you discuss it hypothetically with the
Oh,
Marquess?
No, that's actually not true. There's one person in the party who knew that before, and it's Ike.
Right, you did discuss it with her, yeah.
I discussed it with Ike. But also I made part of my arm out of it.
Anyway,
We have eyes.
that's XP
Yeah,
done. I think we're done. I'm going to end this recording.
I gotta
Thank you,
go.
everyone,
I'm
so
so
much for
tired.
showing up. See you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, everybody.
Next week,
Bye-bye.
Grand Theft Boat.